summer. Like, we need moisture now.
I am normally, and I give Drew Spivak crap for, I almost said another word, all the time for this, because he's like Mr. Suburban Dad, like, gotta have this moisture, thank God, right? And I'm like, whatever, dude. Like, can we just have nice weather? But yeah, no, it's at a point where even I'm like, we could use a little bit.
Yeah, we could use some of that. I know the ski slopes could use some of that as well, and the Nuggets could use some rest after double overtime, man. Whew.
Double overtime, an exciting game. They ultimately lose it, but it was not, unfortunately. Losing the game in the final score was obviously not the biggest loss of the evening season.
Not at all.
Payton Watson, hamstring injury. There's, nothing official in terms of timelines and timetables yet, but you can kind of tell when you listen to David Adelman, when you hear him talk, and it's always like, we're going to wait for an MRI, or, there's a tone to it that says that, we could probably expect Payton Watson to miss a little bit of an extended period of time here. And that doesn't even factor in Spencer Jones with his head injury on the final day of his two-way contract before they have to make a decision. Something like that happens.
I hate that.
Tough break.
I hate that for that young man, because even though his shot looks weird and even though he looks like a football player out on the basketball court, you liked what you've gotten from Spencer Jones, during this time, and you thought one more game they're going to make the right decision, and now the kid's hurt. And with Payton Watson, that's a huge blow. Like, the game is the game, and we'll talk about the game and Big Cat getting all bloodied out there. But, like, it's one of those things where this Watson injury could further complicate an already complicated Nuggets season. This thing hasn't been exactly smooth, right? When Nikola Jokic is missing a bunch of time, things have been unusual this year. And now Payton Watson, just get the hamstring right, because an explosive athlete like that needs the extension for his shot blocking, just for his jump shot, for all the three-pointers he was putting in. Get him right, man. That loss was more painful than just the final score.
You want to chime in on the conversation? There are two ways you can do it on the RamosLaw.com text line, 303-713-1043. I got my eyes on that. Cecil is the king of all things YouTube. Check us out. Like and subscribe to our Denver Sports 1043 The Fan YouTube channel at Denver Sports 1043 and get involved right there. We'll do Tribe Check-In in a little bit. Tell us who you are, where you are, what you're doing for a buck. But in the meantime, Cecil, on the heels of this Nuggets conversation, I said it earlier today when I was reading through the news about Payton Watson and all that. This, to me, feels like the most snake-bitten NBA contender that I can remember.
Yeah.
When you factor in the way that this Nuggets team took the eventual champion Oklahoma City Thunder with the eventual MVP and Finals MVP, SGA, to 7 games with an absolute mash unit of a playoff rotation.
Yes.
MPJ with 2 healthy limbs, Aaron Gordon on a grade 2 hamstring strain, Jokic doing everything that he can. And then you have the offseason that they had where Ben Tenzer and Jonathan Wallace just kick the door down, guns blazing, ship out MPJ, bring back Bruce Brown, bring in Tim Hardaway Jr.,
right.
bring in Jonas Valanciunas.
Seemingly making all the right moves from those two in that Nuggets front office.
100%. And then you get the added step of the initial taste that we got of this Nuggets team and what they're capable of at full strength and full health, which has only been 15 games in this NBA season so far, Cecil, where the Nuggets have been entirely healthy and available and at full strength. They're 12-3 in those 15
I was going to say,
games.
what's that record in 15 games? I bet it's pretty good.
They're 12-3, and it looked amazing. Jokic was averaging 5 to 6 plus less minutes per game, so we were getting that rest factor, even with Cameron Johnson taking a little bit of time to find his stride,
right,
and CB struggling a little bit out of the gate, plus the injuries. That looked like a Nuggets team that legitimately could beat anyone, including the vaunted, best team of all time, Oklahoma City Thunder, the way they started the season. And then it's just been nothing but injuries since then. Christian Brown, Aaron Gordon, Cam Johnson, Jokic, Valanciunas, now Payton Watson, who was having a career emergence in his own right because of all these injuries.
Yes.
Now he falls victim to it. Spencer Jones as well. To me, I can't think of a better word than just snake bitten.
Yeah.
It's like every time it feels like they get their head just a little bit back above water, all of a sudden somebody just shoves them back down.
What they do to the basketball gods, right?
Yeah.
The curse of Calvin Booth. I have no idea what's going on, but I know that they can get healthy at the right time. That's the nice thing. We're talking about the great weather, whether it's February 5th. You know what I mean? You've got enough time to get this thing healthy, get it right. And even, if you're losing Payton Watson, let's just say for a month, right? Super pessimistic or whatever. We don't yet know. Losing Payton Watson from that time, fine, he'll be back, right? You're still playing basketball in April, right? Yeah, you're going to be moving past this. It's just right now, this stinks. And watching Christian Brown, that's a player that we all know and love, but also something pointed out, I think I saw it on social networking, talked about it yesterday. I'll bring it up here for our conversation. He's a player that needs to be 100% right because of that athleticism and explosion and his defensive effort that we love Christian so much for. I feel the same thing with Payton Watson. Payton Watson's one of those guys of like, okay, that skill set needs to be 100% because like Christian, there's a lot of effort, a lot of hustle, a lot of defensive attention. They need to be feeling good to do that. There's some guys that are just so naturally talented. You know, I'm sure Nikola Jokic probably isn't 100%. But he's so naturally talented, he can be 80%, still be like one of the top 5 players in the league.
His game, even though I think he gets unfairly labeled as like unathletic and can't jump over a piece of paper and all that stuff, because his cardio conditioning, like he moves up and down the court.
Oh, yeah.
When he wants to. When he doesn't want to, he intentionally can let off the gas. But his game is also not predicated on high-flying, bouncing out of the gym athleticism.
But don't you think that both Christian and Peyton's games are built on that?
Oh, yeah. Christian with the hustle defense and playing out there on the perimeter. You know, and it was good, actually, if we're talking about positive things that out of a Nuggets game that had plenty of negatives. Seeing Christian Brown make some significant hustle plays defensively on Jalen Brunson, hitting a couple of key free throws to help force an overtime period. That was positive for me for a guy that had a lot of people over the bulk of this season saying they paid the wrong guy and he didn't deserve his extension and maybe they should move him, you know, all those things. It was good for me to see CB get a little bit of run, even in a loss.
Yeah, get CB out there, get him healthy, get his legs under it, and then get this team reset. We've got a couple of breaks coming up. Of course, we've got a big trade deadline today, so yeah, big day in Denver sports, and, well, we'll get into the Avs there as well, but thank God they were able to get something done.
Yep, and they've got an Olympic break coming up with some interesting news about Gabe Landeskog, who got a little bit of a positive green light in his regard that we'll probably get into a little bit later. In the meantime, got Tribe Roll Call checking in, says, morning, fellas, from the 1850, Big Oz checking in. I got 2 Mountain Dews ready to crush this
that one's for you,
Thursday.
Big Oz.
Tough night for the Nuggets, but I wasn't disappointed with most of the play. Shout out to you, Big Oz. Cecil's cracking his Mountain Dew right alongside you. This one says, from the 8575 checking in, I think old Stan should put in a power substation for his Illuminati bunker under Ball Arena. He must have. Stan must have a little 49ers going on there that's causing the Nuggets to be this injured.
Yeah, maybe. We've got to start looking into that.
I believe
Christian
that
McCaffrey
theory.
shuts off his Wi-Fi at night.
I believe that conspiracy theory, Cecil. I'm sorry.
I am Mr. Tinfoil Hat guy. You know, I said yesterday, like, I'm not sure. Now I'm thinking about shutting my Wi-Fi off at night. If Christian's doing it, why don't we all do it?
Listen, if the Nuggets and this injury rash that they've been on is being caused by something electromagnetic, sign me up for whatever it is, because I probably use more of it than they do in my job than they do in theirs.
Yes.
So
sit in front of a computer or doom scrolling at night. Either one.
I got another one here on the Tribe Roll Call check-in from Gabriel in Iowa, fixing CNC machines for productivity.
Nice.
This is interesting, though, because this brings up something that I'm sure you heard this morning coming in. Worst thing about catching up on the podcast is coming up with funny things that I can't send in real time. For example, if there was a Stiddy board, he really needs someone who has a 2-car catch radius like Denzel Boston.
Okay, there you go. 2-car garage.
The Stiddy thing, though, jogged my memory because I've listened to, for about 4 hours now, the morning show just come after you guys for your hatred of Jared Stidham.
Yes.
Like you're trying to run him out of town. You're contacting his HOA. You know, all these. Like, is it personal with Stiddy now? Are we are they unfairly painting you? Because I feel like there's some smear campaigning going on.
Yeah,
here.
That's fine. You know, the morning show loves that, and then they keep doing it forever. When I was walking by Stoke, he's like, take it easy on Stiddy. I'm like, why?
Stiddy for the city.
Why? Why do we need to do that? Who can defend Jarrett Stidham? I guess the morning show can. But my whole thing, I go back to Sam Kinison, and I have to change it for radio purposes because it's pretty filthy. But if you don't trust the quarterback, why are you playing the quarterback? Why is he here? I saw him on the biggest stage throw a chest pass and give New England 7 points. I don't need Jarrett Stidham here. And I don't care. I'm not dying on any hill. I'm just, okay, the guy's not good enough. 3 years in Sean Payton's system. He knows the system. Yeah, he may know it, but he doesn't execute it. And if you're not good enough in the biggest moment, like, sorry, is that unfair? No.
It's impossible.
Because that's football.
We won't have any Zach By yelling necessary
Okay.
there. I just had to bring it up because I felt like the morning
did
show.
suggest trading Riley Moss yesterday in front of ZB, and I was like,
oh, wow.
uh-oh, did I just step in it?
Yeah, that's the
Because
new
when I
Devon
suggested
Vele.
Devon Vele, he lost his mind. You can never do that. And then they ended up doing it, and Vele had, what Vele have, 5 catches or whatever?
Yeah, it was significantly less of an impact than I think the Saints certainly thought they were going to get. We have plenty of Broncos talk coming to you over the next 4 hours, but in the meantime, the Avs have not looked quite like themselves over the last month. I think that's fair to say.
Yeah.
But where are we at with them ahead of this Olympic break, given how they started the season compared to where they are now? We'll talk about that and break down last night's game coming up next.
How concerning is the lack of production for the Avalanche on the power play?
If this doesn't change, they will get beat again in the postseason the same way that they did last year because of the same issue that somehow it's gotten worse.
Denver Sports 104.3. The Fan.
Are you one of those people who dread going to the dentist? If so, have you tried sedation dentistry? Learn more about sedation dentistry at coloradosedation.com. Sit back, relax, and dream with the most experienced sedation dentist and staff at Clarkson Dental.
1877 Cars for Kids. K-A-R-S Cars for Kids. 1877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Call 1-877-CARS-FOR-KIDS to reach a friendly live agent. Donation's super easy, and your car can be picked up as soon as tomorrow. Call us now, 1-877-CARS-FOR-KIDS.
Donate your car today.
Did you know you can donate real estate too?
Hey guys, it's Mark Schlereth. I just made one of the best decisions of my life. I got rid of my glasses. I went to Cutarelli Vision and had refractive lens exchange, RLE. I wore glasses for distance vision, but I got to that inevitable point in life where I was always needing those reading glasses just to do about anything, and half the time I couldn't find them. Seeing menus, texting, reading my computer, or studying film, it was a struggle. But now I see the world perfectly near and far without any glasses thanks to Cutarelli Vision RLE, the perfect permanent solution to spending your good active years not needing reading glasses. And here's the cherry on top. You'll never develop a cataract. Dr. Cutarelli is Colorado's most experienced with over 90,000 vision correction procedures. You can trust him to know if it's the right time for you and RLE. Schedule your free Zoom consultation at coloradorle.com. Cutarelli Vision RLE, no readers, glasses, or contacts, or cataracts. coloradorle.com.
At Belco Credit Union, we want to make your dream renovation a reality. Maybe that means a modern kitchen upgrade or a luxurious new bathroom. With Belco's Home Equity Choice line, you can get easy access to funds with the freedom and convenience of a home equity line of credit, plus the security and stability of a home equity loan. Plus, Belco is also offering low rates for qualified borrowers. Learn more at belco.org/choiceline. Belco is an equal opportunity housing lender. Belco, banking for everyone.
You're listening to Sports Talk Radio at work. So is your competition. So are your customers. Denver sports fans don't half listen. They argue. They text in. They remember stats from 1998. They remember who sponsors their obsession. Audio, video, or online. We've got every angle covered. DenverSports.com. Make your move.
Tune in Tuesday afternoons for Injury Insights with Zach By and Dr. Joseph Ramos to hear the latest injury news on your local teams and around the world of sports. Ramos Law. What makes us different makes us better.
Hey, it's Mike Evans. Restore your bald spot, reverse your receding hairline, or add volume to thinning hair with the same simple one-day treatment I receive from Dr. Tanya Pauls of Advanced Hair. Your own natural hair begins regrowing the very next day, and your new hair is guaranteed to grow. Advanced Hair has changed tens of thousands of lives, including mine. For your free consultation, $250 off, and 250 free hair grafts, call 720-459-HAIR, advancedhair.com.
One iced coffee?
$1, please.
For real? No way. One iced coffee?
$1, please.
For real? No way. What a deal.
Your new morning groove. Iced coffee from McDonald's, any size for just $1 until 11 a.m. Price and participation may vary. Cannot be combined with any other offer. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Stay up to date on the Broncos with our 9 News Broncos insider Mike Kliss. Presented by Fitness Gallery. Hear the latest from every practice and every game every single week during football season. Denver Sports 104.3. The Fan. Denver Sports 104.3.
Going into this game, that would be their last 15 games, 5-8-2.
Yeah, the last 15 games have been so odd. It's just odd, and I think when you get the Detroit shutout on the road, and everyone's like, the power play's fixed, these guys are rolling, and then you come back, and then you get shut out.
Yeah.
And then last night's game, I'm not ready to do anything like they're fine. Because I knew that some people out there, and Mel, Creaky, all of our hockey people in the YouTube chat, you got to back me up here. Because I felt going in, I wanted to see a win. I wanted to see a good performance. We got that. It's not my Turi, it's not your Turi, it's our Turi getting it done. That's for my man Dover. But for me, I knew going into this game, okay, if you get a win, nothing's fixed. If you get a shutout win, nothing's fixed. The issues that are there are still there despite last night's victory.
When you're looking at the last 15 games, because I agree with you, there has been a little bit of a funk. There's been a little bit of a shift in the energy.
Funk is a good way to put it.
In part because of the way the season started. See,
right,
so this was a team that had 2 regulation losses at New Year's.
Yes.
And they were on not just a historic franchise pace to start a season, but they were flirting with an NHL all-time best start to a season going back to like the 1980 Boston Bruins and the 1929 Montreal Canadiens. So how much of what we saw at the beginning of the season carries over, impacts, or softens your impression of the last 15 games where it hasn't looked as good? How much credit have the Avalanche banked up with how dominant they were to start a season, to have guys like Mike Evans saying it's a lock, it's a wrap, they're going to be in the Stanley Cup final, like they're going to win the division, they're the number 1 seed.
Right.
The regular season is a wrap compared to now.
Compared to now? Who are they? That's the thing.
So they had so in your mind, they didn't bank up enough, like their performance at the start of the year doesn't give you burgundy and blue colored glasses over the last 15 games.
Well, let's talk about this then, because could their performance at the start of the year continue the entire season? Probably not.
Very unlikely.
Probably not, because they're an absolute wagon. I've said it a million times. That's what they are. Then this most recent stretch, are they this team? No, I don't think so either.
Somewhere in the middle?
What they are is a team that's been distracted. Not necessarily last night. We can break down last night's game. But just over the course of this, wherever that'll end, just take the 15 games. So on this 15-game horizon, you've seen Italy on the horizon for a lot of these guys, right?
Yeah.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
Be nice to be in Italy. But I think that's caused a distraction, even for guys like Nathan MacKinnon, which I never thought I would say. We've seen Nathan MacKinnon not play his best hockey and kind of seem to have his mind elsewhere. And that's weird. And so I know and I understand, and our hockey guy, Drew Spivak, who isn't here today, he's like, it's always best on best, and we don't get this that often. And yeah, we got it last year but 4 Nations, but we don't get it that often, and we'll get it another 4 years. Like, I get that. Best on best, pride of your country. But I could give a damn if we talk about, like, Gabe Landeskog. I don't care about Team Sweden.
That's where I was going.
I don't care about that at all. I don't care about that when it comes to this team being a Stanley Cup contender because of merely this. One, they probably have to go to the Stanley Cup final just for Jared Bednar to keep his job. And Chris McFarland, too. If you don't make it, because with Nathan MacKinnon, best player, one of the best players in the NHL, right?
He's the best player in the world.
Number 3, whatever. Best player in the world to you. Okay. With that guy, they've gotten past the second round once.
The year they won the Cup.
The year they won it all. So now it truly is cup or bust. This isn't like, you're right there, guys, and let's see what happens in the playoffs. This is, you're winning it, right? This year. You're not going to let anything in D'Amico or whatever, like, you're winning it this year. Is that correct? And all of us can say in unison, yes, it's cup or bust. And because of that, I don't want to see the last 15 games this type of inconsistency.
And it's interesting that you phrase it that way, because I do think the championship or bust mantra is something that gets a little bit overplayed and overused to kind of label where a team's energy is at or what their focus should be going into a season. Because hasn't it kind of felt like since each team won the cup that they've been in cup or bust mode to repeat it once they, especially in the Nuggets case, who proved that they could do it for the first time ever.
But look at what the Nuggets did last year. You mentioned MPJ and the diaper on his shoulder.
Yep.
I mean, they took OKC to 7, and they weren't even healthy.
Right. They went down swinging.
The Avs
blew it.
Choke in the postseason. They just do.
Yeah.
And
the Nuggets got overwhelmed. The Avalanche blew it.
Right. So we have two different things to weigh, both of those teams being in that upper level of championship contenders.
Here's what I'll say, though, because where I was going with that is we talk about championship or bust, right? Like, I think it was championship or bust for both teams last year. And in the Nuggets case, there was reasons why they ultimately couldn't. There was it was the culmination of the Calvin Booth, Michael Malone feud coming to an end. You had
hatred.
David Adelman. You had all the injuries. You had all that stuff. But with the Avs choking it against the Stars, it kind of felt like was it really a championship or bust season? Because they busted and nothing dramatic happened, right? There was no Chris McFarland. There was no bust. It's like you went all in. You got bad cards, and then you just went to the ATM and reloaded.
Yeah.
Right? So that's not really busting, in my opinion. I think this season could be different, to your point.
Yeah.
I do. And what that bar is, whether it's you have to make X round or get to X point in order to guarantee kind of a rollover, I expect – it hasn't happened yet, and I wish it could have been Artemi Panarin. I expect Chris McFarland, as he's been leading up to most trade deadlines, to be a little bit aggressive and look to make some moves to kind of tinker things, and maybe that helps them get out of this funk post-Olympic break. On the Olympic break note, because I do think that the Gabe Landeskog conversation is interesting. Cecil, I don't want to be the guy that says someone shouldn't have nationalistic pride, shouldn't feel good about playing for their country or go out of their way and overextend themselves for that kind of honor because it's rare, right? Like every 4 years. And I know the Four Nations face on it. I don't want to be that guy. But I'm also not the guy that's just going to be like, oh, hey, yeah, Gabe Landeskog hasn't played since January 4th when he had a really scary collision against the Florida Panthers. So he's been out of hockey for a month, and his first action back is going to be for Team Sweden.
Sure.
When we clearly need, if we're the Avalanche,
right,
all hands on deck
yes,
and everything rowing in the right direction,
yes,
including even a slightly less or diminished version of Gabe Landeskog compared to, pre-injury. I'm not the guy that's just going to be like, yeah, I'm cool with that. I'm going to be nervous as hell.
Of course.
It's three.
What's his style of play? Is he ever going to take it easy? Is Gabe going to
no,
be like kind of light on things?
Especially not in an emotionally charged Olympic environment where, to your correct point, these guys look forward to this. They are energized and amped for this. Look at what we got from the Four Nations face-off, and that's not even the actual Olympics. This is for the gold, a real one, not a tournament gold, not a nickel-plated gold. But so I understand why Gabe and why a lot of these players would want to do that, but I'm not just going to lie and be like, oh, I love this. Whether it's 3 games, 5 games, 7 games, however far Sweden advances in the tournament, I'm going to be watching that game nervous. And to the people on the RamosLaw.com text line or maybe on YouTube, I'm sure it'll come like, injuries can happen anytime. Yes. I got it. But that doesn't mean we need to be okay with or be happy about opportunities where that could happen, especially because it's his first action back.
It's actually the flip side. Our guy Claymore on YouTube says, hockey's the most difficult season in the world of sports. Players should not have to play in the Olympics. It's too much and too much to lose. And my mere point with Gabe is this. Why did you fight for 3 years to come back? Did you fight for 3 years? Was the plan like, I'm going to fight for 3 years and represent Sweden and get the gold, which you're not going to get. They're not going to win the gold. So I've seen the future. Spoiler alert. It's USA or Canada.
Yep, feels like that.
Okay, and let's just go USA because F Canada. I'll say it. I don't care. And then, okay, Gabe, you fought for 3 years to come back. Why? What's your why in football and in life, or in sports and in life? What's your why? I always asked that when I was at the Senior Bowl for 20 years in a row, except this year. Not that I'm bitter about that. And I would see guys playing grab ass and telling, Dick LeBeau jokes or whatever. I'm like, why are you here?
Yeah.
You're not here to actually watch the players. Right. You're not here to scout. You're here to just...
You could have done this at home.
To take a selfie and be like, I'm at the Senior Bowl, everybody. Same thing now. Gabe, why are you here? Did you fight for 3 years to come back and win a Stanley Cup, or did you fight for 3 years to come back and just do whatever you want? Because you are jeopardizing the Colorado Avalanche by representing Sweden in the Olympics. Sorry, that's just the way it is. And the truth isn't meant to make you feel good. I got the bingo card. I can't play Cecil Lammy bingo.
No, do we have any of those cards laying around?
I can't believe you guys played Cecil Lammy bingo. That's worse than the Hair Witch Project.
Okay, first of all, the Hair Witch Project unveiling was
awesome.
Hilarious.
It was awesome.
Hilarious. Shout out to as much of Statler and Waldorf as they can be sometimes. Shout out to Mike and Mark for actually self-containing that entire thing, filming it all, setting it all up
for months,
stealing his wife's hair, and then getting hair donations from across the building here in case they ran out. Amanda Brown, our boss, had a Ziploc bag full of hair in her desk for this.
Okay.
But yes, the Cecil Lammy bingo card is going to be, that's one of my favorite subtle pranks to keep in the Rolodex for years to come.
Okay,
all right.
Get as offended as you like.
Get as offended as you like. It's 10:30. I don't think anybody's going to be offended by this next segment because at 10:30 we're going over our names for Bo's board. Who should the Broncos have their eyes on to help our guy Bo Nix next season? We'll give you the latest one coming up next.
Bonneville International Radio Station contests are open to participants at least 13 years of age and older that are residents of the state of Colorado. Unless otherwise specified, employees or agents of the station, Bonneville International Corporation, other area radio stations, or an entity associated with the contest may not enter. Full general contest rules are available at DenverSports.com.
Hey, what's up? It's Zach here. And if you're looking for your new go-to spot in Centennial, the Basketball Social House is it. Award-winning food and drinks, an incredible weekend brunch, and a brand new sports bar entertainment space where you can catch every Colorado game. Even if you're not playing, it's a great hang. But if you are, their private basketball suites are unreal. Full court, lounge, music, TVs, the whole setup. And because you're hearing this from me, get half off your first private basketball suite rental. Just use code HALFOFFHOOPS. Trust me, you're going to love this place.
Women go through many changes in their lives. And we believe each milestone matters. That every new candle represents another step in your story. Our healthcare experts support women at every stage of life. Because each chapter deserves to be celebrated. Women's health. Nurture what's next. Find care near you at mountain.commonspirit.org. Common Spirit Health. Human kindness lives here.
Cecil Lammy here for SodaWeightLoss.com, and they changed my life so much. I know how to eat, what to eat, and when to eat thanks to SodaWeightLoss.com. I lost over 60 pounds a few years ago, and I'm never going back. Having my own nutritionist made all the results. A real person, so I could go with questions, concerns, and maybe just even sometimes just need some encouragement. Join Soda Weight Loss for a short time to have results that last a lifetime, just like me. Call them up at 1-866-800-SODA, SodaWeightLoss.com. Soda Weight Loss is, say it with me, state of the
Hey guys, it's Mark Schlereth, and home show season in February is when homeowners make the smartest improvement decision before the demand hits. If windows are in your future, Gravina's Window Center of Littleton offers Infinity by Marvin fiberglass windows built for strength, efficiency, and long-term value. And this February, you'll save 25% plus enjoy 12 months zero-interest financing. Visit windowsforyourhome.com or call them at 303-794-0490.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-793-8074 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-793-8074. That's 800-793-8074. What do you have to lose? Call 800-793-8074. Again, 800-793-8074.
Denver Sports Snapshot.
Tonight on 104.3 HD3, DU Women's Basketball faces South Dakota starting at 5:30. Tomorrow on 104.3 HD3, DU Hockey skates with Colorado College with pregame starting at 6:30.
104.3 The Fan. We are Denver Sports.
You're listening to Dover and Cecil on Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan.
It's that time. We've been doing it for days now. The latest installment of Bo's Board, because damn it, Cecil Lammy, if we can't get our third-year quarterback some help, it's going to be tougher to get back to the mountaintop that they were just on the cusp of against the Patriots.
Yeah, until Jarrett Stidham pissed it all away, so there you go.
I had to make sure we left opportunity for that to happen.
The morning show's going to do that to me.
I don't want the morning show to feel robbed of their experience.
Get the drop every day. Ty, Simmer, get the drop every day. Jarrett Stidham is not good at football. I don't need him here. I'm sorry. You ruined the Broncos' dreams. Sorry.
Well, there's going to be plenty of time to talk about what the Broncos don't need over the course of this offseason that has now begun here in Denver. But I want to focus on what the Denver Broncos do need, and that is the subject of conversation for Bo's Board. We've gone through a whole list of names from Tyler Algier yesterday, Denzel Boston, Kyle Pitts, Mike Washington, David Njoku, maybe Breece Hall, who I know Zach Bye and others were pounding the table for. I know you guys talked about it plenty on your show. Obviously didn't happen. Well, the next player on Bo's Board that could give Mr. Chapman Nick some help is...
Now he's airing it out deep down the field for Pierce. Pierce, touchdown!
Jones, floated, end zone! Pierce has got it! Touchdown! Indianapolis!
Alec Pierce.
Okay.
Wide receiver for the Indianapolis Colts, who I got to be honest, Cecil, it kind of feels like there is some momentum or movement from Broncos country, maybe not just specifically toward Alec Pierce, but towards wide receivers in general.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about Alec Pierce.
Yeah, Alec Pierce is a guy that whenever we've done Bo's Board, the comment section gets filled up because everyone's talking about playmakers. Kev, I want you jumping in on this because people have said, need the playmaker, need the playmaker, need the playmaker. Okay, well, this playmaker's just coming off his first 1,000-yard season. This playmaker is a player that can go out there, win with speed, win with route running abilities, got good size, because you think Alec Pierce, you might think, oh, what is he, like 6 feet, 6'1"? No, he's 6'3". So larger than some people would think, and you know Sean Payton loves his trees. You can leave that one alone. Don't retweet the video. The Broncos will get mad at you. But okay, Alec Pierce, he's got enough size. People are saying he can be the number one. And because we've seen so much Alec Pierce, Broncos got to get Alec Pierce. I actually disagree with this, but I wanted to have the thought experiment. That's what Bo's Board is all about. It's some of my favorites, and also some really interesting thought experiments because Alec Pierce could be seen as one of the top available wide receivers in free agency.
Well, I'll say this, Cecil. What would you say was one major thing that was missing from the Broncos offense, both in the run game and the pass game this past season?
Explosive plays.
Explosive plays.
Yeah.
Alec Pierce had a career-high 1,003 yards on 47 receptions.
Right.
I had to pull out my calculator when I read that. That's 21 yards per reception.
You know what he averaged last year? 22 yards a reception.
That's crazy.
Yes.
So for me, I understand that there's going to be pluses and minuses to any player in free agency or when you're looking at these evaluations. But, man, if you're telling me that a guy that every time he catches the football, he averages 2 first downs per catch, I think the Broncos offense could do decently well with that, especially if he averages out to be a 6-7 touchdown guy like he has the last 2 seasons.
Right. And I'm not really worried about the touchdowns because the other touchdown getters you have on this team, like a Cortland Sutton, like an R.J. Harvey, right? But Alec Pierce, you want playmakers. You want playmakers, Kev. I want you chiming in on this because when I send the names, Kev's always in my kitchen. Now, Spivak's really in my kitchen, but Kev gets in my kitchen about this Bo's board because he's so careful with Bo. You know, well, what are you giving Bo? What are you suggesting for my guy Bo? So you're like up and around, hey, who's Jamal? Who's the guy? Who's the guy? And I was like, wait a second.
Christmas present are you giving him this week?
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, is Alec Pierce a Christmas present? You said the other day you wanted playmakers. I actually don't want this because of the price tag. And we have to get into Spot Track, and the projected price tag is over $20 million a year for Alec Pierce.
That's real money.
You've already paid Cortland Sutton that. It's my personal philosophy that regardless of Alec Pierce's skill set, to pay that kind of money for 2 wide receivers when you've got young wide receivers on the come up, they're not as good as Alec Pierce right now. I'm not saying they could ever be as good as Alec Pierce in their careers, but Kev, is this something you wanted playmakers? This guy's clearly a playmaker.
I think of him as like more of a number 2 guy. Like a T. Higgins
Are you
type.
paying him?
Do you need a number 1?
Are you paying him like a number 2?
I want another number 1.
You want 2 number 1s.
I want 2 number 1s.
So you want
he wants to replace Sutton as a number 1.
I want what the Bengals have.
You want T. Higgins?
I want to dream big.
Dysfunctional ownership group and a quarterback that's always injured.
Let me simplify. I want the wide receiver core.
The wide receiver core that they have.
Well, I'll tell you what. Yeah, if I could just wave a magic wand and bring Jamar Chase here to Denver, that would be pretty freaking sweet.
Yeah.
But Kev, the Bengals paid Jamar Chase and T. Higgins both big money, and it does, to Cecil's point, limit what they can do roster-wise financially. So we have to kind of play a little bit of a balance here. There is historical precedent to the Broncos paying multiple receivers, right? DT and Emmanuel both got contracts that overlapped with each other.
But that wasn't a great time.
It wasn't, and that's where I was going with that, is it does feel like if you're prioritizing and power ranking positions that you want to overspend on within a single room, wide receiver is a tough one to do while also balancing out the important parts of the roster, the trenches on both sides of the ball, the run game, things like that.
Right. And that's the thing with an Alec Pierce. You're going to be spending a lot of money, not top-tier wide receiver 1 money, but if he's making as much as Cortland, that's not a plan I like.
See, I'm not too worried about the money right now because
it's not my money.
Yeah. It's Walmart money. Yeah. But you still have Bo on that rookie contract. You still have that rookie contract. Basically, everyone's paid right now. The house is built. Let's put up that nice 72-inch TV in the living room now. Let's go get it because right now Sutton's that 50-inch TV. I want that 72 curved plasma TV.
The OLED curve.
I want the curved one.
Kev's been browsing the internet.
He's
been shopping. He's been online shopping.
Someone's thinking about Christmas in July.
I'm just imagining Kevin with a cart at Costco just staring at a TV, and blocking all the lanes.
Stop the cart.
He's just watching the same fish tank animation go
Don't
over
be that
and
guy
over again.
that stays too long, like clogging up the lane in
Leaves
Costco.
the cart on one side of the aisle to go grab something on the other side.
Pierce, that 72-inch TV, is he really this luxury item?
I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
He's a playmaker.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
he did it catching passes from Phillip Rivers and Riley Leonard and Daniel Jones earlier in the year, but he was able to produce these type of big time numbers with lesser quarterback play.
He was a significant weapon in the loss against the Broncos. So could he be maybe
not a 1,000-yard receiver with Bo Chapman-Nix, but a 1,500-yard receiver? A line that Cortland Sutton has yet to reach, right? Is that the case? So Alec Pierce, a lot of people want him. I don't because of the price tag, and I want that money spent elsewhere. I know it's not our money. I want that money spent elsewhere, tight end, running back. But I thought it was a great thought experiment because so many people want Alec Pierce. And by the way, Colts might just franchise tag him. So we got to watch out for that. We've got the deadline coming up of when you can tag players, whatever day that is. Kev, if you want to find it, that'd be great. But that's something to watch. He might not even be available if the Colts do franchise tag him.
Here's what I'll say on the thought experiment, because I agree with you. It's a worthwhile one. I don't think I feel incredibly comfortable with the concept of rolling into the 2026 season with the wide receiver room being like, yeah, we just need to run it back, and Troy Franklin's got to take another step. Marvin Mims, we got to hope just becomes more available. Pat Bryant's going to take another. Like, that's all great. All those things need to happen. But this is a team that's in a legitimate Super Bowl window, and to Kevin's point with a rookie contract, that's going to close big chunks every year for the next handful of years until that contract comes due for Bo. But if you're telling me I've got $20 million to spend and I can spend it on an elite-level playmaking tight end, a diverse, multi-talented, multifaceted running back like a Breece Hall, or a wide receiver, Alec Pierce, or otherwise, I'm sure other names could fit that bill. Wide receiver's not at the top of my priority list.
Well, and I'll tell you this, point blank period, and we'll get through more names on Bo's board every day right here on Dover and Cecil. For the price that Alec Pierce is going to go for, I can get you one stud running back and one stud tight end. So you can have Alec Pierce.
I love a coupon.
Or I can give you two of them things.
Yeah, no, sign me up for that. The wide receiver room probably should be addressed in some fashion, whether it's maybe a
draft pick,
cheaper option in free agency, a draft pick, wherever we kind of want to slot it out once those boards start really filling out.
Have you looked over the wide receivers in free agency? It's a ghost town.
Yeah.
Like,
and that's part of the reason why I think you saw.
Because I thought on Bo's board, like, do I bring up guys like Noah Brown? Does that excite anybody?
No.
Hey, the Broncos can get Noah Brown for $1 million.
No. And I think that's why you saw teams like make a move and overpay for a guy like Jacoby Myers and things like that. Probably forecasting ahead, which they're paid to do. Well, that is today's installment of Bo's Board. Alec Pierce, let us know on the RamosLaw.com text line or on YouTube, 303-713-1043, at DenverSports 1043. Thumbs up, thumbs down. In the meantime, we've been talking a lot about what Bo needs in terms of support around him this offseason. But what about the other side of the ball? What does Vance Joseph need to help maintain and even surpass, especially in a turnover sense, the defensive performance from last season? We'll talk about some potential defensive upgrades coming up next.
Should Sean Payton be on a short leash as a play caller next season?
I'll give Sean and this offense 6 games next year to show that they have indeed made the jump. And by that point, if you're not averaging 25, 26 points per game offensively, sure, make the switch, hand it over.
Denver Sports 1043. The Fan.
Stoker for my friends at Roller Auction, leader in Colorado auction for over 40 years, and they got one of my favorite auctions that's open for bidding right now that's ending on February 11th at 9 o'clock. Over 290 items in this, a government fleet vehicle and equipment auction. Always one of my favorites. It's got SUVs, sedans, pickup, utility trucks, dump trucks, police vehicles, trailers, various municipality equipment, and so much more. Open for bidding right now. Go see it all. Get yourself a great deal at rollerauction.com.
Are you stuck staring at your W-2? Are tax refund worries holding you back? You probably have FOMO, the fear of messing up. The fix? Using TurboTax on Intuit Credit Karma. They find every credit and deduction to help you get every refund dollar you deserve, or your money back. It's time to overcome your fear of messing up and get your taxes done right. Start filing today in the Credit Karma app.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm, and Chuck McDowell definitely not an attorney. This is Chuck. If someone talked you into buying something really silly and you want to get out of that silly little thing, my advice, get the facts. Call me and I'll send you our timeshare exit kit absolutely free. Inside, you'll learn how timeshare works and all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your free exit info kit. 800-656-1551. That's 800-656-1551.
Your air duct cleaning experts, Ductworks.
Hey guys, feeling cooped up this winter? Mark Schlereth here. You know these Colorado nights can get freezing cold with your furnace running non-stop just to keep things cozy. But here's the thing. While your heating system is working overtime, it's also blowing dust, dirt, and debris through your air ducts and straight into the air you breathe. That's where Ductworks comes in. Your trusted air duct cleaning experts. Using a powerful combination of scraping and vacuuming technology, the Ductworks team clears out years of buildup, grime, and other gunk hiding in your ductwork. The results? Cleaner, fresher air, better energy efficiency, and a healthier home or office for you and your family. Don't wait until spring. Breathe easier now with top-rated service from Ductworks. Call them at 303-425-0985 or visit them online today at ductworks.com for a free residential or commercial estimate.
303-425-0985.
Dan Jacobs with 303 Law 4040 and Jacobs Law with another cool story to share. James called 303 Law 4040, and he's like a lot of our clients, not looking to get rich, but he just didn't want to get stuck with a bunch of medical bills. So we met with James like we do all of our 303 Law 4040 clients in person, and it's a good thing we did because we noticed James did not look so good. We sent him to the hospital to get checked out, and they did wind up admitting him. In the end, we got him feeling better and $125,000. He was over the moon. He came into the office to pick up his check and rang that victory bell. And the really cool part is James surprised us with a check of his own, a donation so we could keep the best free meal in Denver coming each and every first and third Thursday. If you've been injured, you may be like James, not looking to get rich, but not sure what to do. That's why we're here to help. Just give us a call at 303-LAW-4040. Go ahead, save that number in your phone. You never know when you're going to need it. That's 303-LAW-4040.
You know what it takes to win: the preparation, the game plan, the refusal to quit when things get hard. You bring that same mentality to your business every single day. But even the best teams need fans in the seats. At Denver Sports, we put your business in front of Denver's most passionate, loyal audience, on air, online, and on the big screen. You've got the drive, we've got the reach. Visit us online at DenverSports.com. Let's build your roster.
Nothing brings friends and family together on game day like delicious King's Hawaiian Sliders. Bring them to the big game table and be the real MVP. Football and King's Irresistible Hawaiian Sliders. There's nothing like it.
Stay up to date on the Broncos and the latest news from around the league with our NFL insider James Palmer, exclusively on Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan. Mondays on The Rundown with Richie Carney, Tuesday afternoons on The Drive, and Friday mornings on Stokely and Evans with Mark Schlereth, all season long. Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan, DenverSports.com, and the Denver Sports app. It's Dover and Cecil on Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan.
We just got done going through Bo's board, today's installment, the Alec Pierce experience, and whether or not that's something we want to bring to Denver.
Yeah.
But it does beg a reasonable question, I think, Cecil, because so much of the conversation already in this young offseason for the Broncos is like, hey, this needs to be the year of the offense, right? They need to figure out the tight end position.
It's a fantasy football draft this offseason.
They need to get 2 tight ends, 2 running backs, probably a wide receiver, right?
Yeah, what? There's nothing wrong with any of what you just said.
Yeah, exactly. I don't necessarily disagree with it, but there's another side of the football, too. And frankly,
They're
Cecil,
fine.
that side of the football carried the team for the majority, if not the entirety of the season outside of a couple of instances, and they might need a little bit of help too, especially in one particular room that is in danger of losing 2 of its 3 key contributors, that being the inside linebacker room. That was the subject of Kevin Patra's one off-season room that every team needs to address.
Sure.
At NFL.com. He selected the inside linebacker room for the Broncos as the room that they need to figure out most urgently. And I would say, because you've got the potential with Alex Singleton and Justin Strnad, both up for free agency in this offseason, that does kind of leave a situation where you're looking around, if you're Dre Greenlaw and you're like Will Smith and Fresh Prince, like, what's going on here? Are you confident enough in the ability to reload at inside linebacker that you're just like, meh, no worries?
Yeah, I'm confident enough because what's really weird, like incredibly weird, is that, and I don't know if people want to trust this, but your rookie linebacker, inside linebacker class is actually really great. really great. When a guy like Jacob Rodriguez, who's normally would be like the number one inside linebacker, when he's going to be available likely in the second round, that's craziness to me. And I look at the top, let's say 8, maybe even 10 inside linebackers that could make plays in this league. Now, you want to get up to the top of the list as you possibly can. You want to get around that Jacob Rodriguez, standing in terms of inside linebackers that can make plays. But you've got a young group that's coming into this league with a lot of upside. Okay, a lot of heat-seeking missiles in this draft. Well, because you can do that, I know Justin Sternad wants to be a starter somewhere. I wouldn't mind if you paid him to be a starter here, but I know Alex Singleton's like a fan favorite. I get it. He's got great hair. Broncos legend, Alex Singleton. How much does he have left in the tank? How much can you invest with a player that you don't know how much is left in the tank? Is there anyone still fascinated by Drew Sanders? I'm not, personally. As someone who's really high on that pick. Drew Sanders was my number one inside linebacker when they got him coming out of college, and then they ruined him, and he's been hurt.
You want to talk about snake bitten, right? Like I talked about the Nuggets earlier. Like Drew Sanders' NFL career.
And then they do the whole are you outside? Are you inside? You've got enough edges now. At least if you draft an inside linebacker, you're not going to mess around and be like, you can play pass rusher too,
It's
right?
kind of the blessing and the curse of being multifaceted, right? Like the Isaiah Simmons problem, right? When he was coming out of college, he was like, this guy can play anywhere on the football field. And then he gets drafted to a team that's got a million holes, and he can't seem to fill any of them.
Right. So because of this inside linebacker class, I'm okay with having a Singleton brought back on a real nice deal, because you'd imagine it would be lower than what Justin Sternad's going to get. And when Sternad moves on, we wish him well, and we say thank you, because the dude was amazing and really kind of rejuvenated his pro career by getting better and better over the last 2 years with opportunities to play more.
If you had the opportunity to pay one but not the other when it comes to Alex Singleton and Justin Sternad to be the opposite and be the green dot, essentially, unless you want to give that to Greenlaw.
Yeah.
Who would you choose for the Denver Broncos going into 2026? Because both are up for new contracts, and it doesn't feel like both are going to get them.
Well, because I want to spend money on tight end and running back, and maybe even some wide receiver, although, again, after Alec Pierce, there's no Emmanuel Sanders this year. When Emmanuel Sanders was picked up and he never had a 100-yard game with the Steelers in 4 years and then was immediately a 1,000-yard receiver, there's nobody like that in this free agent class. But because I want to spend money elsewhere, I want Alex Singleton and I want a draft pick. You can do that this year. So I'm going to kind of fudge my answer a little bit. I want both. Justin Sternad's money could be something that you're paying him, and maybe it takes you out of the market for your Breece Hall or whatever, because there's teams like Tennessee's got $100 million in cap space. There's teams you're going to have to compete with that if they want a guy, if they focus on a guy, you're not getting them. Regardless of you're the Broncos and they're the Titans, like if there's teams out there with more money than you, and because of that, I know, okay, Alex Singleton, you can have a lower price. That frees up more money for your tight end, for your running back. And then I know that you can draft a really good one. And I wouldn't normally say that because a lot of the times people ask me about ILBs. I'm like, yeah, there's a couple. And if you don't get those guys, you're basically screwed. And SOL, I guess I should say, like that's usually what happens. But this year's draft is much different. So because of that, I want Singleton on a lower price, and I want a rookie.
You know what's funny about the Tennessee Titans, now that you bring them up? They have $100 million in cap space, and
they're still the Tennessee Titans.
They're still the Tennessee Titans. I'll give you that. But they were the Week 1 matchup for the Broncos, and I did not realize this until prepping and going into to the research for that game. You know who the starting middle linebacker is for the Tennessee Titans?
Cody Barton,
and they freaking love him. And frankly, he's playing pretty well. I think he's a captain on defense, and I think he's their green dot. And I'm like, man. A lot of people couldn't wait to get that guy out of town when he was here.
Yeah.
And it's just one of those funny things when you look at, how it looks from your vantage point versus if you rotate it, or how Tennessee looks at a guy that you couldn't wait to get rid of. Two teams with definitely different current standings and trajectories based on where each are at. But I do think Cecil, inside linebacker, is a question that's going to have to be answered. And I think that it's one of those positions that we've seen where because of injury or however depth concerns may come, all of a sudden goes from a situation kind of like the start of the 2025 season where we thought, oh man, we're stacked, we're great, we're loaded. Then Singleton gets hurt. Greenlaw gets hurt, then gets suspended, then gets hurt again. And we're like, okay, wait a minute. Now this doesn't look like it did at the start of the season. Suddenly
Yes.
I'm not feeling so great like
Right.
I was in March and April.
Right. So we'll see about that. Who's this? Jagged something on YouTube says, any more rumors about the return of Vaughn? Cool moment yesterday on OBT. I don't know if you saw it. I know you watch Orange and Blue today
I
every
actually
single
do.
day.
Yeah.
Did
No,
you
not every single day.
Vaughn walked by Mace and fist bumped him.
Really?
Yeah, and you know Mace isn't the type of guy to be like, have his hand out.
Yeah, exactly.
Like Vaughn, they just made eye contact, and Mace is wearing his Super Bowl 50 ring.
That's awesome.
And, of course, he worked for the team at the time, but it was like a classic OBT moment. So shout out Andrew Mason, because our guy Vaughn walked past and just gave him the old fist bump. Mace was super happy about it. He should be.
He should be.
They shared a special moment. He's got a Super Bowl ring.
That's so cool. They were part of a championship season
Yeah.
together in their own respective rights. And as much as Vaughn has, made headlines and has adapted to a different role and a style of play post leaving Denver, and there was the whole argument about should they have moved on from him a couple of years earlier and gotten more value from him, all that stuff. Vaughn was the nth degree of like Bruce Brown before Bruce Brown. Vaughn has left Denver and has not shut up for years since about how much he loves
still
Denver.
says we.
He loves the Broncos. He says we, right? We love that about Peyton Manning. Vaughn's love and loyalty as a Denver Bronco. And I'm not surprised at all that he wants to go back. Frankly, who wouldn't want to be a Denver Bronco right now with the trajectory that they're on and the opportunity to kind of jump on that
And by
bandwagon?
the way, I don't think it's a rumor. Vaughn's putting it out there.
No, on his own podcast
like
and everyone that will listen.
5 times this offseason already, and I'm sorry, but
It's not
if he
gonna
doesn't
happen.
play special teams, it's not going to happen.
It's not going to happen. Now, as a specialist pass rusher type role, what did he have, like 7-8 sacks last season?
I believe so, yes.
Yeah, like so even in a specialist,
But that
like,
doesn't
third
fit
down,
here.
It doesn't, but it just I understand why people might be tantalized by that because he can clearly still, in whatever his limited role or specialized, thing is, he can still get after it a little bit. All right, coming up next, what's going on out there in Santa Clara where our buddy Andrew Mason is? Well, our buddy Mike Kliss, our 9 News Broncos insider, is also out there. We'll get the latest on Davis Webb's potential to call plays and everything going out there at Super Bowl week coming your way next.
The champ! Are you ready? Do you consider yourself a super fan? Well, now's your chance to prove it. It's Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan Super Fan Send-Off, presented by 303 Law 4040, sending you to Las Vegas for the biggest pro wrestling event in the world. A pair of 2-night event tickets, airfare, and hotel all included, plus a $500 Visa card. So get in the ring and enter now at DenverSports.com/superfan. That's DenverSports.com/superfan.
Your heat seems to be running a lot more than it should. Why? You might be surprised to learn it's because the insulation in your windows has failed. When that happens, your heat leaks out and the cold gets in. Talk to the pros at Window Nation and get new windows with big savings during Window Nation's Buy 4 Windows, Get 4 free sale. Plus, you could get them with 0 down, 0 monthly payments, and 0 interest for 2 years. And ask how you could get a pair of Icon Pass 2-day sessions. Don't wait to put an end to your window problems. Schedule a quote now at windownation.com.
Career changers, including veterans and active duty service members. Your transition starts here. Go from GI to IT in a matter of months. Become a certified cyber warrior with training at My Computer Career. Cybersecurity specialists are in high demand, offering IT pros great opportunities and a rewarding lifestyle while protecting our people, liberty, and treasured institutions from cyber threats. Deploy your career in IT today at mycomputercareer.edu/CWP, an elite CompTIA certification partner.
VA education benefits are available to those who qualify.
I'm Boomer Esiason. My mom died from cancer. She was only 37 years old. She didn't have life insurance, and that was devastating for my family. That's why having life insurance is so important to me. Ethos makes it fast and easy. Get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. You can get up to $3 million in coverage with no medical exam.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/play. That's ethos.com/play.
Are you living with dry AMD? If so, you could be on the road to geographic atrophy, or GA, a condition that leads to retinal cell death and permanent vision loss. But with Izervay, you can
slow it down and get it going slower.
Izervay slows GA progression by targeting a key source of retinal cell death, which may help preserve your vision longer. Izervay, or Avastin Capted Pagel, is a prescription eye injection used to treat GA. Don't take it if you have an infection or active swelling in or around your eye. Izervay can cause eye infection, retinal detachment, or increased risk of wet AMD. Izervay may temporarily increase eye pressure. Your vision may be impaired after an eye injection or exam. Don't delay. Ask your doctor about Izervay today.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Visit Izervay.com. That's IZERVAY.com. Paid for by Astellas Pharma.
This Valentine's, I want to make it really special. Kick it up a notch and tell her exactly how much I love her.
At Williams Jewelers, we've created our one-stop Valentine's package that makes telling your true love exactly how you feel. I'm Steve Williams.
And I'm Bruce Williams. You see, we're one of Colorado's largest fine jewelers with the designer brands she knows and loves, like Tacori and Hearts on Fire.
Thousands of quality, iconic, and yes, affordable pieces you won't find in any other store, starting at under $300.
And now, through Valentine's Day, with every purchase of $250 or more, you get a fresh cut rose and a bottle of wine as our gift.
Guys, it's one-stop shopping.
This year, more than ever, Williams Jewelers in Cherry Creek North.
And Williams Jewelers in Inglewood at Bellevue and Broadway.
We're Denver's first family of fine jewelers.
And your one-stop Valentine's store.
Williams Jewelers, we can make diamonds a part of your life.
Williams Jewelers, the official jeweler of the Colorado Avalanche.
When the new year hits, every business could use a little something to stay ahead. A lift, a jump start, an edge, or perhaps a boost. Like the all-new 5-year business boost from Comcast Business. It's the certainty of a price lock for 5 years on qualifying internet bundles. Plus, you'll have the most reliable Wi-Fi with our best equipment, so your whole team can stay connected at a great rate. And to sweeten the deal, ask about a $500 prepaid card when you add 2 lines of mobile. It's the boost your business deserves. So sign up for the 5-year business boost and get a 5-year price lock on ultra-reliable Wi-Fi. Plus, ask about a $500 prepaid card. Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
Ends 3/22/26. New customers only. 1-year contract required for guaranteed rate. 5-year pricing applies to monthly service charge excluding taxes and fees. Best Wi-Fi based on Open Signal Awards USA Fixed Broadband Experience Report, May 2025.
Hey, what's up? It's Zach here. And if you're looking for your new go-to spot in Centennial, the Basketball Social House is it. Award-winning food and drinks, an incredible weekend brunch, and a brand new sports bar entertainment space where you can catch every Colorado game. Even if you're not playing, it's a great hang. But if you are, their private basketball suites are unreal. Full court, lounge, music, TVs, the whole setup. And because you're hearing this from me, get half off your first private basketball suite rental. Just use code HALFOFFHOOPS. Trust me, you're going to love this place.
KKFN and KKFN HD1 Longmont, Denver. You're listening to Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan.
Denver Sports Snapshot.
Tonight on 104.3 HD3, DU Women's Basketball faces South Dakota starting at 5:30. Tomorrow on 104.3 HD3, DU Hockey skates with Colorado College with pregame starting at 6:30.
104.3 The Fan. We are Denver Sports.
Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan presents
Alongside Cecil Lammy, we are Dover and Cecil, and we welcome in our 9 News Broncos insider, Mike Kliss, presented by Fitness Gallery. Mike, I'm sure there's a lot going on out there in Santa Clara. What is the vibe going into this Super Bowl week as it relates to the Denver Broncos? I know I've heard Nick Bonito, Jonathan Cooper, a lot of guys Pat Surtain out there talking about, man, we should have been here. We were clearly the better team, and maybe feeling a little bit of a FOMO as it relates to this matchup. Is that vibe something that's shared by people outside of the Denver market, or is it kind of just a thing for us here?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of people that agree the Broncos should have been here. I've got was pulling for the Broncos in the AFC Championship game. nationally, I think there's two things. Bo getting hurt and not playing in the game. That's a tough deal when your backup hasn't played in more than 2 years. I mean, that was a tough deal. The weather, there are three factions to that. Bo, the second half weather, where really a big part of that game, guys, was the opening series of the second half. New England has the ball for 9.5 minutes.
Yep.
It starts flurrying, lightly at kickoff of the second half. By the time their drive was over and they only got a field goal at 9.5 minutes gone, the field was covered and was unplayable. And so that kind of that hurt the Broncos. And then the other thing everyone's talking about is Sean Payton not taking the field goal on 4th and 1. Both the play call and the decision, people disagreed in foresight, not hindsight.
Now that we can look back on it, Mike, and you're out there talking to a bunch of NFL-type people, I kind of want to piggyback off Richie's question and merely just ask this. The ideas or the thoughts about Bo Nix, after year 2, now people like, the Broncos got their franchise. We already knew that. But, what kind of healthy amount of respect are you hearing out there in Santa Clara about Bo Nix?
They think he's a good quality quarterback. People haven't. I haven't talked to people about his footwork and sometimes when he has a rough game, people come out on the internet and just bombard him with his inconsistency and his lack of passing technique. But I do think there's a little bit more respect for Bo in how his season went regarding all the comebacks. And he was captain comeback this year,
right?
And he just wasn't there to pull it off. Stidham, and again, I think Stidham did do well under the circumstances. Had he played 3 games in a row and played like that would, he would have been criticized a little more. But that interception with 2:11 to go, and that really bad 19-yard sack and what turned out to be a fumble were just crucial mistakes in the game that cost him in an environment like that. So, but most of the blame, I think, has gone to Sean Payton not taking the 3 for the 10-0 lead, given the way that game played out. But Bo, providing he's okay going forward, and there's, he doesn't break his ankle again, the future is bright for the Broncos and him.
Mike, we've been talking a lot as we look ahead to the 2026 season for the Denver Broncos about biggest areas of need, positions of need, and specifically centered around what might help Bo Nix not have some of the same struggles offensively that he and they as a unit had going into 2026. But that also relies a little bit on the play calling and the coaching. We had the promotion of Davis Webb, and it feels like there's a lot of buzz and speculation saying, why would Davis Webb stay here in Colorado if he wasn't going to be able to call plays or take on a bigger chunk of responsibility there because of the interest he had outside the organization? How do you envision right now, what's the scuttlebutt around Sean Payton's grip on the reins of the Broncos play calling and whether or not it may loosen next season?
Yeah, I think there's a good chance of it that Davis Webb, that Sean maybe at some point would announce this offseason. I'm not sure when, that Davis Webb is going to call the plays. I'm guessing they're still talking about that. But I also think the key is, if Sean Payton does go with Davis Webb as a play caller, how long before Sean Payton takes it back? Is it question. 2, 3 and outs in a row? Is it 2 losses in a row?
Right.
The question is sticking with them when things aren't going well, as happened this past year. But the biggest hint to me in looking, with Davis Webb, there are a couple hints. One was what you just mentioned, Richie, that he drew a lot of interest, and to entice him to stay, you had to offer him. You had to offer him something, and play calling would definitely be an enticement But the other thing was that Sean kind of admitted that he's getting old at the play calling. You know, as he gets old, he needs to be quicker. He even admitted that before the Buffalo playoff game. And so that tells you that he's thinking about it. So we'll see what happens here. But again, I wouldn't be surprised Davis Webb is calling plays. I also will have a play calling watch as the season goes on.
Nice. I love it, Mike. Thank you so much for checking in with us from Santa Clara. We will have plenty more opportunities to touch base with you, our 9 News Broncos insider, over the course of this now offseason that we look ahead to for the Broncos, and we will start by doing that next week. Thanks, buddy.
Thanks, guys.
All right, coming up next, we'll react to a couple of things that Mike had to say there and give our thoughts on the night that was for both the Colorado Avalanche and the Denver Nuggets. All of that coming your way next.
Do the Broncos need to double down on the tight end position again this offseason?
I'm not interested in garage projects. I'm not interested in blocking tight ends. This team needs playmakers. This team needs weapons. And because of that, you're going to need to get 2. You're going to need to get a free agent, and you're going to need to have a rookie.
Denver Sports 104.3. The Fan.
A family office is a team built to handle the 3 biggest financial responsibilities a family faces: wealth management, tax strategy, and estate planning. Most firms only manage your investments and refer the rest out, hoping everyone stays aligned. At Trajan, we built something different. Your wealth, tax planning, and estate planning are handled together inside one firm under one roof. There's no guessing whether your CPA, advisor, and estate attorney are truly in sync, because our team works together every day on your behalf. When your financial life becomes more complex, your advice should become more coordinated, not more fragmented. One plan, one trusted team. Call Trajan today, 720-204-8100. That's 720-204-8100.
Trajan Wealth, an SEC-registered investment advisor. Additional services through Trajan Estate and Trajan Tax. Additional disclosures and accreditation at TrajanWealth.com.
Hi, I'm Terrell Davis, 2-time world champion and Pro Football Hall of Famer. There is nothing more important than your health. That's why I made the smart move to invest in fitness equipment with Fitness Gallery. It's a game changer.
This February, save 25% off all primetime functional trainers, home gyms, and racks. Work out on your schedule on the equipment you choose from the safety and comfort of your own home. Save up to 50% off on select premium equipment. Visit one of Fitness Gallery's 7 convenient locations from Colorado Springs to Fort Collins.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Charlie's battery is struggling to start. Not ideal before the tailgate, so he goes to AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone,
where a friendly AutoZoner tests his battery for free. Looks like he needs a new one, so he gets the Duralast battery.
have fun and stay warm.
And he makes it to the tailgate early enough to get his favorite spot. Free battery testing and charging. No hassles, just help.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
I know that hiring can be challenging. You need someone to match your role perfectly. Well, now you can meet them fast on ZipRecruiter.
Build your team, build it sooner. Meet your match on ZipRecruiter.
Just head to ZipRecruiter.com/free right now to try it for free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Meet your match on ZipRecruiter. Try it free.
Hey, it's Mike Evans. Restore your bald spot, reverse your receding hairline, or add volume to thinning hair with the same simple one-day treatment I receive from Dr. Tanya Pauls of Advanced Hair. Your own natural hair begins regrowing the very next day, and your new hair is guaranteed to grow. Advanced Hair has changed tens of thousands of lives, including mine. For your free consultation, $250 off and 250 free hair grafts. Call 720-459-HAIR, AdvancedHair.com.
Women go through many changes in their lives. And we believe each milestone matters. That every new candle represents another step in your story. Our healthcare experts support women at every stage of life. Because each chapter deserves to be celebrated. Women's health. Nurture what's next. Find care near you at mountain.commonspirit.org. Common Spirit Health. Human kindness lives here.
Hey, the cold weather is here. Stoke here from my friends at ROX Rocks Heating and Air. Has another company told you that you need a new furnace? Time to throw in the challenge flag. Rocks Heating and Air offers no obligation, free second opinions. And don't forget about heat pump rebates. They've never been better. Up to $13,500 only at ROX Rocks Heating and Air. Now play that jingle.
HVAC service, installation, repair. ROX Rocks Heating and Air.
Stay up to date on the Broncos with our 9 News Broncos insider Mike Kliss, presented by Fitness Gallery. Hear the latest from every practice and every game every single week during football season. Denver Sports 104.3. The Fan. It's Dover and Cecil on Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan.
T.I., man, making a comeback, dropping new music.
Right?
I like T.I.
Yeah.
You just got a good sound.
T.I. is also welcome on this show.
And T.I.P., right? Because he did that thing where he was calling himself two different names.
Yep.
We just talked to Mike Kliss, Cecil. Richie Carney sitting in for Josh Dover today. And he touched on something interesting, a couple things that were interesting. One, he talked about the fact that, hey, the vibe, the buzz that the Denver Broncos probably should be and easily could have been playing in Super Bowl 60 going back to Santa Clara 10 years later. That's not just you guys in the Mile High City kind of thing.
Well, and I love it because then you could throw it in Patriots fans' faces like, yeah, you guys get to be there, but we know who really should be there.
How is it going to change how you feel if the Patriots go out there and just get punched in the teeth by the Seattle Seahawks in that defense? Or if they win, if the Patriots and Drake May goes out there and balls, Sam Darnold turns back into a pumpkin.
Sam Darnold seeing ghosts everywhere.
Yeah, is it how differently? What's your emotional swing going to be? Like, let's say they go out there and the Patriots get blown out. Is that going to make you feel like vindicated? Of like, yeah, that the Broncos could have done X, Y, Z. Or how does that change if they go out there and win?
I want to do the hot take radio thing, but it's not ass crack and ball sack mayhem in the AM. It's Dover and Cecil with Richie Carney sitting in today.
Just the ass crack.
But I will say this. Patriots don't feel like they deserve to be there.
I kind of agree.
You know
it feels like a little Mickey Mouse.
And I don't want to be like hot takey because most hot takes are just stupid. But like the Patriots don't deserve to be there. They played nobody as the season went on. Kev's got all those receipts. Like
that is the funniest.
They played zero.
The funniest tweet of one of them of the year, by the way, was somebody that went back through the Patriots schedule, week 1 through week 18. It was like fired coach, Jets, fired coach, Jets again.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Right, right. And that's how they were able to get there. They get there with a snowstorm and Jarrett Stidham. Sorry, you don't deserve to be there. So
Broncos win in a dome?
I'm anticipating Broncos win with Bo Nix. Let me just put that out there.
For sure.
And it's the whole Jarrett Stidham thing. Hey, keep bringing it up, morning show. I'm not going away from it. And by the way, I'm just digging in further. It's not like I'm going to, I give
peer
Jarrett
pressure.
Stidham a break.
Yeah.
No, there's no breaks. In the AFC Championship, you choke the game away. So for me, the Patriots don't deserve to be there. I see this Super Bowl one. Get it out the way. I'm done with this. I want it done. I want this over with. I want the Seahawks to win as much as I can't stand Seattle either. Can't stand their fans who had to pay for the 12th man from Texas A&M so that they could call themselves 12th man. Like, okay, go. Get your ring, everybody. I'll be happy for guys like Drew Lock or Jackson Smith and Jigba, who's a baller.
Big Kenneth Walker fan, obviously.
Yeah, of course, Kenneth Walker. But I'm like, okay, the Patriots shouldn't be the AFC's representative. It should be the Denver Broncos. We'd have a better Super Bowl, even with Jarrett Stidham. We'd have a better Super Bowl than what I believe we're going to get. Maybe the Patriots prove me wrong, but I can't stand Patriots fans. I can't stand Boston accents. I can't stand Dave Portnoy, reviewing pizza and getting mad. I'm just done. I'm done with the entire New England experience. Mike Vrabel, everybody. Mike Vrabel playing nobody and then playing Jarrett Stidham.
Yeah, listen.
Good job.
I think Mike Vrabel is a good coach. I like kind of the energy that he brings and the way he's able to relate to a locker room as someone who was a prominent member of one, former teammate of Tom Brady. And yes, these aren't the Tom Brady, Bill Belichick Patriots, so maybe some of that like evil empire stink is off of them like it did for Brady for me when he went to Tampa Bay, because I love Tampa Tom, hated New England Tom. By the way, did you see Tom Brady not fully endorsing, like rooting for the Patriots when he was asked about it?
Yeah.
He's getting a lot of crap for that. I don't remember who it was. One of his defensive backs team, not Asante Samuel. Somebody was like, you have 24 hours to recant your statement and support the Patriots or I'm coming after you.
Go for it. Yeah. See how that works out.
Exactly. You think, he eats avocado ice cream and wears compression socks. You think he's scared of somebody sneaking up on him in the night?
Right.
He prepares for every contingency. But no, I just can't bring myself to root for the Patriots for anything.
No, not at all.
I think Drake May has the potential to be a decent quarterback. I think he's a nice guy and all that. It's more lovable than the Bill Brady Patriots. But, man, I'm going to be watching them just like I've been watching them throughout this media week going, that shouldn't be you. You're living somebody else's life right now. You know what I mean?
And it's one of those things, and we can get personal on the show, right? We're in the trust tree.
Yeah.
You know the bro code. Please don't ever violate the bro code, by the way. Because I've told you things
that is true
that nobody knows.
It's like mutually assured destruction.
Exactly.
Everybody's got nukes.
We're going down. But I would say this. Is it, because I asked this question a few days ago, is it like a relationship where you see her move on, but you're like, I should be there? You know what I mean? Like, I don't necessarily know how to feel about this Super Bowl. I know I'm angry. I'm mad at Jarrett Stidham, and I feel like the Broncos should be there. But I'm like, I love the NFL. I love the Super Bowl. I could give a crap about this Super Bowl.
Yeah,
Seattle had better win. Let's get New England out the way. I want Dave Portnoy crying on his pizza, and that's it.
And I'm seeing it on the RamosLaw.com text line 303-713-1043. So you guys would be happier getting blown out by Seattle again? Yes. Yeah. I would.
Because you made it.
With
Jarrett Stidham.
You made it, and it gave the opportunity for Bo Nix's sophomore season and all of the fourth quarter heroics, the clutch time comebacks that he helped will this team back to victory.
Yes.
It helped it at least get to a point where it's like, you know what? They were there. It didn't end up happening. It was one game later than it would have been since they lost in the AFC Championship game. But Bo Nix could have been sitting in the stadium in Santa Clara, probably standing on the sideline going, you know what? I helped get us here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And
I think he
want to
deserved
see
that
Broncos defense against this Seattle offense. I'm they could say blow them out or whatever. I just would like to see that.
J.K. Dobbins coming back. Maybe helps Jarrett Stidham a little bit more.
He'd be back.
100%.
He'd be back.
He said it. He was trying to come back for that game, and I think he was genuinely serious about it.
And as an NFL fan, we just have a better game. You'd have a more exciting Super Bowl. And it would be less annoying because nationally, everyone outside of New England hates you. I don't know about the Boston guys, but like if you're not in Boston or New England or the New England area, go outside of your borders and everybody hates you. Everybody hates the New England Patriots. Why this isn't like a villain thing and like, oh, it's the villain. Like, no. This is Drake May getting way too much credit for stuff he didn't do yet, and I think Drake May's a good quarterback. I'm not surprised by Drake May's play at all. But this is Josh McDaniels getting more credit than he deserves. This is Mike Vrabel, whatever, and I agree, Vrabel's a good coach, but like everyone's just going overboard about no New England. It shouldn't. It's like Dante and Clerks. Shouldn't even be here today. Like the Patriots shouldn't be in that Super Bowl.
I don't have to think about it that hard, Cecil, to answer the texter's question on the RamosLaw.com text line. I would absolutely, if you gave me two options, hey, the Broncos season can play out the way it did. They lose 10-7 in an ugly AFC Championship game that even with Jarrett Stidham and a second-half snowstorm, they were in position to win. Or they sneak by the Patriots, they get to the Super Bowl, and they get blown out by a Seahawks team that's just firing on all cylinders. Give me the Super Bowl blowout. Making it to that stage means a lot. It means a lot for the carryover for the team within that locker room, the coaching staff, the momentum going into that season. It impacts the free agent acquisitions and the draft plans. You would have got J.K. Dobbins back. You would have had multiple weeks to prepare. I know they had multiple weeks technically because of the bye week for the divisional round, but absolutely, if your options for me are losing the AFC Championship game, losing the Super Bowl, it's losing the Super Bowl every time. I don't even think it's hard.
Yeah, and as much as it would suck to lose a Super Bowl, You could also be like, yeah, but they didn't have Bo Nix.
Yeah, you know what's worse? Being on the doorstep over and over and over again.
We almost had like the free pass as sports talk show hosts. We
Gravy,
almost had
baby.
the free pass of like, Broncos made the Super Bowl without Bo Nix. Yeah, it doesn't matter.
And
if
you know
they
how
lose,
exciting it could have, like, at that point, had Jarrett Stidham and the Broncos won that game against the Patriots, we literally would have been talking about, like, hey, Nick Foles.
Yeah.
Like, this is a thing.
Yes.
This can happen.
Yes. We can, and the Broncos defense can make it happen. J.K. Dobbins can make it happen. Obviously, Jarrett Stidham can't make it happen. But still, like, that's the thing, man. I'm not excited by this Super Bowl. I'm mostly annoyed. And I just kind of want it over. I want to eat too much. I want to have, hopefully, the Seahawks win. And I can't stand Seattle. But, like, no, the more pain we have for the New England Patriots, the better off.
All right, the Broncos have a handful of questions this offseason. That's been one of the focal points of our Bo's Board segment. But beyond things that'll just help Bo Nix, there are other areas of need. Cecil and I are going to try to power rank those for the Denver Broncos coming up next.
How concerning is the lack of production for the Avalanche on the power play?
If this doesn't change, they will get beat again in the postseason the same way that they did last year because of the same issue that somehow it's gotten worse.
Denver Sports 104.3. The Fan.
Hey guys, boy Steve here today about my long-term buddy Troy Hansford. And if you're thinking about selling your house for any reason, now might be the time to sell, still get top dollar. Believe it or not, my guy Troy is still offering his $5,000 guarantee. What is it, you ask? Well, if you can't sell your house at your price on your timeline that you agree upon beforehand, bam, going to cut you a check for $5,000. Who else makes the offer? Nobody I've ever heard of. And he makes that offer because he continues to spend a ton of money marketing his listings, has about 100 families approved and ready to buy right now. And if for any reason you need to sell right away, Troy can buy your house all cash and he can close in as little as 7 days. You have a house to sell, Troy probably has that perfect buyer for you right now, waiting for you to pick up the phone and to call him. Call Troy, get your home sold for the most money. That's 720-900-4433, 720-900-4433. Troy Hansford of RE/MAX Professionals, a Colorado licensed broker. Some restrictions do apply. Want to sell your house? Then call my buddy Troy, 720-900-4433.
It's Chuck Devine with SnowCountry.com. You expect more from yourself, expect more from your money. Get started today at Robinhood.com/yourmoney. Bluebird skies, mild air, and golden sunshine continue at the slopes to wrap up the week. Wolf Creek has the most snow in Colorado, and Scott from our Snow Country crew was there earlier this week.
Spent 2 glorious days exploring the snow at Wolf Creek Ski Area, high above Pagosa Springs. We found natural snow stashed in Alberta's tree runs and smooth cruisers off Treasury Stoke. Finished up the day in the soft bumps under Bonanza Chair.
It's 42 miles at Wolf Creek with a 3-foot snowpack. Loveland on 53 trails woke up to fresh snow Wednesday. They just picked up a half-foot of fresh snow at Loveland. They're skiing almost all their beginner trails, half their intermediate runs, and 10% of their black diamonds. Winter Park with pack powder and hard pack on 2/3 of their terrain. Cooper skiing and riding on 40 trails, variable conditions and pack powder. Monarch is 95% with pack powder and hard pack snow that softens when temperatures rise. Get more at SnowCountry.com.
Stoke here for my friends at Roller Auction, leader in Colorado auction for over 40 years, and they got one of my favorite auctions that's open for bidding right now that's ending on February 11th at 9 o'clock. Over 290 items in this, a government fleet vehicle and equipment auction. Always one of my favorites. It's got SUVs, sedans, pickup, utility trucks, dump trucks, police vehicles, trailers, various municipality equipment, and so much more. Open for bidding right now. Go see it all. Get yourself a great deal at rollerauction.com.
Dan Jacobs with 303 Law 4040 and Jacobs Law with another cool story to share. James called 303 Law 4040 and he's like a lot of our clients, not looking to get rich, but he just didn't want to get stuck with a bunch of medical bills. So we met with James like we do all of our 303 Law 4040 clients in person, and it's a good thing we did because we noticed James did not look so good. We sent him to the hospital to get checked out, and they did wind up admitting him. In the end, we got him feeling better and $125,000. He was over the moon. He came into the office to pick up his check and rang that victory bell. And the really cool part is James surprised us with a check of his own, a donation so we could keep the best free meal in Denver coming each and every first and third Thursday. If you've been injured, you may be like James, not looking to get rich, but not sure what to do. That's why we're here to help. Just give us a call at 303 Law 4040. Go ahead, save that number in your phone. You never know when you're going to need it. That's 303 Law 4040.
Hey guys, your boy Mark Schlereth here. Denver is Truck Month only at Bozarth Chevrolet and Celebration Chevrolet, where every new and pre-owned truck comes with a spray-in bed liner included. That's right, every new truck, every bed protected. Plus, take advantage of deeply incentivized programs on all the new and pre-owned trucks, including the new Silverado and Colorado, with offers designed for their customers to take advantage of. Work harder, play harder, drive smarter. Only at Bozarth Chevrolet and Celebration Chevrolet, your trusted partner in automotive.
Nothing brings friends and family together on game day like delicious King's Hawaiian sliders. Bring them to the big game table and be the real MVP. Football and King's irresistible Hawaiian sliders. There's nothing like it.
Denver Sports Snapshot.
Tonight on 104.3 HD3, DU women's basketball faces South Dakota starting at 5:30. Tomorrow on 104.3 HD3, DU hockey skates with Colorado College with pregame starting at 6:30.
104.3 The Fan. We are Denver Sports.
Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan presents Dover and Cecil.
Ironically, Cecil, I think it looks semi-similar in some areas to what we were shopping for last offseason, which is never a great sign. But sometimes you roll the dice and they don't come up your
Sometimes
way.
your shopping list is the same, and sometimes you can venture out a little bit. But I'm okay if, I kind of eat the same thing every day, and I love it, by the way, and I don't react as well when I don't eat the same things. So I'm like, I'm okay with the shopping list being somewhat similar, but you've got to have some hits here in what you do, because they're probably going to have to draft another running back. And they've drafted Audric Estime, and he's not even here. And they've drafted R.J. Harvey, and he's limited in what he's done. And then now you got to draft another one, most likely. And there's other positions.
I think the tight end position is in that same. You paid Evan
every
Ingram.
year. They're drafting a wide receiver, right?
Yep.
You just kind of got to go
in the
back.
early rounds. You know what I mean?
They've spent premium picks on wide receivers. What, the last 4 years?
Troy Franklin was a 4th-round pick. Pat Bryant,
not necessarily
3rd-round
premium,
pick.
but still. Pat
But
Bryant,
you're
premium.
right there on the fringe.
Marvin Mims, 2nd-round premium. So you've spent 3 years of trying to find these guys, and it hasn't worked yet. Guess what? You probably got to do it again.
All right, let's go. Let's run through some different position groups here and just answer and ask a simple question related to each one. Quarterback room. Seems like a question that I feel like I might know the answer to, and I know the morning show's been waiting on pins and needles for this. Do they need a better backup than Jarrett Stidham? And is that something they can reasonably attain given the other areas of need and money where they have
What's
to
Zach Wilson doing?
I kind of agree with that one. He was already in the room. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And by the way, I don't need the whole, he knows the system. It doesn't matter if you can't play.
Right.
You know what I mean? He knows the system. That didn't do any good. Zach Wilson knows the system, and he's got more natural talent than Jarrett Stidham.
You guys
Give
have
him a
mentioned
shot.
Marcus Mariota.
Yeah,
right?
I really like the Marcus Mariota thing. And
Tell you what, the Marcus Mariota that I saw on Sunday Night Football with the Commanders-Broncos game,
right.
That guy could win you a game in a pinch. He didn't do it very often for Washington.
You'd be going to the Super Bowl, and we could do that exercise, although it seems like a moot point right now.
Does.
We could go through, would you have won that game with this guy? And if it's Marcus Mariota, the answer is probably yes.
Running back room. Let's start with this question, Cecil. What happens to J.K. Dobbins this offseason?
If they bring him back, you better be getting a couple more added with him. You can't trust J.K. Dobbins. And I understand he's doing the political thing like a politician of I'm a Buckeye and I'm a Bronco. I don't think of you as a Bronco, J.K. You didn't even play a full season. You've never played a full season. You've missed more games than you've played.
Tell you what, though, Cecil, they were a top 10, borderline top 5 rushing offense early in the season.
Well,
when
J.K. Dobbins is a top 5 running back when he's healthy. He's just never healthy. So if you bring him back, it's going to be a cheap deal. You don't have to bring him back anytime soon, by the way. He can be another one of those guys.
You acquired him in June of this past year.
Right. You could do
mandatory
that again.
minicamp.
You could do it. Pick him up in May, right after the draft. Oh, draft didn't fall like we liked. We didn't get the back we liked. Let's go get J.K. Dobbins. That's the situation you're
I
in.
like that a lot. But see how your hands play out in free agency in the draft and what's available to you. And if you get all the way to that point, late May, early June, again, just like you were this past offseason, and J.K.'s still kicking out there, which he very well may be, I'm okay with that because then you're probably going to bring him back for a pretty similar deal that you just did. If J.K. Dobbins had stayed healthy, the Broncos are probably playing in a Super Bowl right now, even without Bo Nix because of the ankle injury, and then maybe JK in an offseason, whether they won or lost the Super Bowl, can get a few-year deal from somebody else and kind of cash in a little bit. That's not the way it happened, and I don't think some team is just going to be jumping and clamoring at his services,
right,
just like they weren't a year ago. It's the same story,
yeah,
just with another year added for context. Tight end room. Are we talking, just like running backs, it feels like you got to address it in multiple ways, maybe draft and free agency or double up in the draft or do whatever you got to do. Tight end room similar with Evan Ingram there?
Yeah, I mean, you have to consider probably not trading Evan Ingram. I don't know who would give you much of anything for him. You have to consider a post-June 1 cut.
$10 million dead cap, right?
I don't know about you. We haven't talked about this even off the air. His postseason comments did not sit well with me.
Well, they sounded like a continuation of his midseason comments, which is just like the guy that's like, hey, listen,
right,
I want to do more. I think I'm capable of doing more, and I don't know why I'm not doing more, but one
right,
thing I do know is it's not my fault. That was basically the way Evan Ingram was talking about it.
Yeah.
It was always, it's out of my hands.
Yes.
I don't know what to do.
Right.
I'm not sure what's going on.
I just got to take care of me.
But something clearly was going on, Cecil.
Yeah.
You, me, Josh, Chicken Fingers, everybody here at the Fan was standing on the sidelines of the practice field there during training camp, watching Evan Ingram carve up the middle of the field in 7-on-7s and in team periods, watching him create space and use his hands, saying, this guy's going to eat.
Yeah.
We all were. It
Yeah.
was like a unanimous consensus among the media there that, oh, this Evan Ingram thing's going to work. This is already popping.
And then it didn't
on
work
the practice field. And then it went to the preseason first, and it did. He had that 50-something yard reception.
But that was with Jarrett Stidham.
Right? And we're like, oh, there you go. You got it in a game, quote-unquote, action there in the preseason, and that was it. It really just felt like it felt like something we were just staring, waiting for week after week after week, and kept saying, oh, this is the week it's going to happen.
Yeah.
This is the week it's going to happen.
Right.
And it never did. And
I'm sick of waiting for it.
There are differing opinions and reasons as to why it didn't happen. But like I said, the one thing that feels clear to me is Evan Ingram's like, it ain't my fault.
You're right.
So whether it's Sean Payton, whether it's Bo Nix, whatever it is, Evan Ingram wasn't happy with it and clearly felt like he was being shortchanged on the role that he was sold when he signed here.
There is nothing worse than coworkers who aren't excited about your game plan.
It does kind of create a little bit of a morale void in the room.
I believe so, yes. So with the tight end position, I'm a fan of getting two. You've made a wonderful promo of me saying that right here on the Fan. So, yeah, you're going to have to go out in free agency, get an Isaiah Likely, who may be on an upcoming Bo's board. Get ready for that, Kev. But, like, go out and get a free agent, David Njoku, Kyle Pitts, whoever, and then draft a tight end this year.
Those positional groups have been the subject of conversation leading up to today, which brings us to today's topic of conversation, the wide receiver room. Adding to it in terms of bringing in more guys for Bo Nix in that stable to be able to utilize in his third season with the Broncos, or are you leaning more toward the trust the process development route and saying this is going to be the year that Marvin Mims gets more involved and has a more solidified role?
Well, see,
Troy Franklin's going to take another step. Pat Bryant, who clearly gained some trust.
Got to stay healthy.
He's got to stay healthy, but he gained some trust from Sean Payton as a blocker.
Yeah, he should.
Getting out there.
Yeah.
Trust the process or get on the phone, George Payton, let's call some people.
I trust Greg Penner. And Greg Penner's kind of idea for the way he wants his team to operate is draft and develop. It just is. He's not a guy, even though he did it once with Ben Powers and Mike McGlinchey and all that, like, hey, we're going to do that because we kind of had to. This isn't going to happen every year. Greg Penner is a draft and develop guy. George Payton, you've got to get better at finding these wide receivers, and these wide receivers got to get better at developing. It's an entire process. And I'm not saying George did a bad job. I don't think he's done a bad job. But I think that these young wide receivers need to elevate their game, and George needs to keep adding more of these wide receivers, even if it is a first-rounder like Denzel Boston from Washington.
For me, I think the answer to this question when you're talking about add to the room in draft or free agency or sit back, trust the process, and continued growth and development for the guys that are in the room behind Courtland Sutton hinges on one guy, Marvin Mims. They got to figure out what they're going to do.
Why didn't they use him more this year then? Marvin was ready.
He was the baby Joker. He was the Riddler, right?
Yep.
The Joker by force.
And he got less work this last year than he did a year ago. Why?
Correct. He felt like a square peg in a round hole for
He could have been
Payton
a 1,000-yard receiver this year.
in that regard. Then they bring in Evan Ingram, who everyone assumes is going to be the Joker. Maybe it's kind of more like a Lucas Kroll, RJ Harvey type of situation.
Stop trying to make fetch a thing.
And Marvin Mims, in a year where we thought, okay, he's not going to be in this like forced joker role. He's going to be able to be a boundary.
He can be a wide receiver.
Utilize that, break the top off the defense speed. And again, it just didn't really happen. And he dealt with some injuries, and he was kind of in and out of the lineup. But then you see it in the postseason.
8 for 93 and a touchdown.
8 for 93 and a touchdown. And you're like, why can't we get more of that? Why does it have to be the extremes of he's either on a milk carton or he's the leading receiver by a mile and making unbelievable sideline end zone catches to help the Broncos take down Josh Allen and the Bills?
And if Pat Bryant doesn't get hurt in that Bills game, does Marvin even get that opportunity to get 8 for 93?
That's why I think the answer to whether or not the Broncos can reasonably rely on drafting and developing, trusting the process, and continuing to foster the talent in the room they already have, or go outside the organization and bring in more help, it hinges on Marvin Mims. Because if you're telling me Marvin Mims gets more consistent involvement in production like we saw in the postseason from him, I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that as a 1-2 punch, and then you can have Troy Franklin and Pat Bryant bringing up the rear.
Right.
But if you're going to get the same kind of inconsistent who-knows Marvin Mims that we've gotten for a season and a half or so now, I think they might need more help from the outside.
Yeah, it's something that you've got to look to, not really free agency, and we'll get back to the Alec Pierce conversation, but it's like, okay, if it is about the draft, are you spending another premium pick on a wide receiver? It's a results-based business, baby. I don't care if they pick a wide receiver I don't care if they take 3 of them this year. Who can play? Find your playmakers. And that probably this year for wide receiver is best going to come through the draft.
All right, coming up next, it's 11:45, which means just like we do every day at this time on this show, it is time to check our X next.
Should Sean Payton be on a short leash as a play caller next season?
I'll give Sean and this offense 6 games next year to show that they have indeed made the jump. And by that point, if you're not averaging 25, 26 points per game offensively, sure, make the switch, hand it over.
Denver Sports 104.3. The Fan.
You've probably heard of a man named Lee Iacocca. Lee, an amazing automobile executive, may be best known as the man who developed the Ford Mustang. But here at Alpine Bank, member FDIC, his skills ran much deeper. My name is Glenn Jamron. I'm president of Alpine Bank, member FDIC. Lee Iacocca knew the key to success. It was friendship. Lee said that if a person finds 3 true friends over the course of life, they are blessed. Over the years, you've taught Alpine Bank that loyalty leads to deep and lasting friendships. You get back when you give out. You give loyalty and friendship, you receive loyalty and friendship in return. That makes sense to Alpine Bank. Alpine Bank, committed to Colorado and you.
Rain on game day doesn't faze Dave. He's already got his poncho. Just needs to do something about those wipers. So Dave heads to AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone,
where a friendly AutoZoner helps him get premium quiet wipers and some hand warmers.
You're all set.
Now if only his team can handle the elements as well as his new wipers. Get wipers, glass cleaner, and more with no hassles, just help at AutoZone.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
When your check engine light comes on, do you see a repair bill or do you see peace of mind? For 20 years, CarShield's been the name America trusts to help keep you on the road. While other companies stop covering you when your car gets older, CarShield offers protection plans up to 200,000 miles. With over $1 billion in claims paid, we don't just promise protection, we deliver it. Don't let a breakdown break your budget. Get the flexible month-to-month coverage you deserve. Go to carshield.com. That's carshield.com today.
Hi, I'm Terrell Davis, 2-time world champion and Pro Football Hall of Famer. There is nothing more important than your health.
This February, save up to 50% off on select premium equipment. Visit one of Fitness Gallery's 7 convenient locations from Colorado Springs to Fort Collins.
Hey guys, your boy Mark Schlereth here for my friends at Xfinity. Now, when Team USA is on, you can almost see the moment when the kid starts believing, hey, I could be next. Now, while Xfinity can't guarantee that, they can guarantee something super important. That's your internet price won't change for 5 years. No contracts, no commitments. So, while your kid's ordering online or streaming highlight reels, your Xfinity internet price won't change. It will not budge. And who knows, by the time the next Winter Olympics roll around, your kid could be getting fitted for their very own Team USA uniform. And guess what? You'll be paying the same price for reliable Wi-Fi. And there's even more to enjoy with Xfinity Gold Medal Celebration. Now through February 22nd, get our best price on gig Wi-Fi for 5 years guaranteed, just $50 a month. Plus, get Peacock Premium included for 10 years. That's a $10.99 value each month. Xfinity, imagine that. Proud partner of Team USA. Restrictions applies. Requires paperless billing and auto-paid with stored bank account. Taxes, fees, extras. Actual speeds may vary.
You're listening to Sports Talk Radio at work. So is your competition. So are your customers. Denver sports fans don't half listen. They argue. They text in. They remember stats from 1998. They remember who sponsors their obsession. Audio, video, or online. We've got every angle covered. DenverSports.com. Make your move.
Tune in Tuesday afternoons for Injury Insights with Zach By and Dr. Joseph Ramos to hear the latest injury news on your local teams and around the world of sports. Ramos Law. What makes us different makes us better. Stay up to date on the Broncos and the latest news from around the league with our NFL insider James Palmer, exclusively on Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan. Mondays on The Rundown with Richie Carney, Tuesday afternoons on The Drive, and Friday mornings on Stokely and Evans with Mark Schlereth, all season long. Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan, DenverSports.com, and the Denver Sports app. Don't at me, bro. It's time to check your ex.
Why are you stalking me?
No, not that ex. Twitter, unfollow. Here's Dover and Cecil to help you swipe, scroll, and screenshot your way through today's top headlines.
Power of social media. I'm on Team Gets It.
All right, it's that time to check our ex. We do it each and every day at 11:45.
This is your favorite segment of the show.
It is, because the internet is a terrifying and beautiful place, as the intro says.
Yes.
And I take pride in my Twitter timeline. I built that algorithm brick by brick, okay? And
boy, does it serve you what you want.
Boy, does it.
I like
Ana
one
Darmus.
Sydney Sweeney tweet, and then my timeline is full of Sydney Sweeney.
I actually think we could probably feel confident in knowing what's on Josh Dover's Twitter timeline.
Yes, you might have caused his absence today.
I did. Richie Carney sitting in for Josh Dover, partially maybe
I'm kind of mad at you about this a little
partially maybe because I introduced our boy JD to Sabrina Carpenter this week. He was not aware of her,
which is odd,
which is crazy.
Yeah, put the skateboard down.
But a day and a half later, he has to take a sick day, and I just feel like that's potentially not a coincidence. He is exhausted.
Yes.
One thing I'm seeing on my Twitter timeline, Cecil Lammy, is a comparison of the AFC champions 10 years apart and basically pitting those two squads against each other. Obviously, 10 years ago, the Denver Broncos were AFC champs in 2015 with a five-man team that consists of Peyton Manning, Ronnie Hillman, DT, Von Miller, and Chris Harris Jr. The internet is pitting that team, that grouping, up against the 2025 Patriots, Drake May, Travion Henderson, Stephon Diggs, Milton Williams, and Christian Gonzalez, and asking the question, who gets the win in this matchup? And my answer to that question, in the most official sense positive, is, quote, get the hell out of here. Are you kidding me? You're going to try to look at me, internet, with a straight face and say, Drake May, Travion Henderson, Stephon Diggs, Milton Williams, and Christian Gonzalez can even share the same field with Peyton Manning, Ronnie Hillman, R.I.P., DT, R.I.P., and Von Miller and Chris Harris Jr.?
Right.
You're out of your, almost said it again, mind.
Blankety blank mind.
Your blankety blank mind.
Yeah.
I mean, is there any argument, Cecil?
No, there's zero. This is
Zero?
why Patriots fans are dumb. This whole thing about New England fans, like everybody hates you, New England. And to bring up this type of stuff, it just shows you why people hate you so much. Do it with other Super Bowl champions and compare them to those 5 from the New England Patriots. Those guys are going to win too. It doesn't matter. Bring up any team that's a Super Bowl champion over the last 25 years. Give them their 5 best players. They're better than what New England can trot out there on Sunday.
Yeah, that irked me a little bit to where I'm like, I understand rage baiting
it
for
shows
content.
Hubris from New England, but that's all those blanky blankers have. Now I'm going to cuss.
All right, so outside of Sabrina Carpenter and rage baiting from national media outlet accounts about this year's Super Bowl teams, Cecil, what's on your timeline?
Give me the Jameis Winston waka waka waka. I literally can't perform unless I have the waka waka.
I thought in this segment,
the internet.
That's the internet is the breeding ground for freaks.
That's right, breeding ground for freaks.
No, we do the waka waka Jameis Winston thing.
This one.
Yes. All right. This is on my timeline. Abandoned malls should be turned into Gen X retirement homes.
I kind of like that.
Coming
actually.
from Jester Jum something.
Wait a minute. Okay, hold on. Let's think about this.
Because abandoned malls are still a thing. There's still plenty of malls that are open, and there's not a lot of people there. Southwest Plaza. Sorry. I love Southwest Plaza, but that's kind of the way it is there. But it's like Gen X, my generation, the best generation. We are. Sorry. That's just the way it is. It's not a millennial thing because I know you're a millennial.
I am.
Dover's a millennial. Kev's a millennial.
Drew Spivak is a millennial, even though he'd want anything more in life than to not be. It's my favorite thing, by the way, that he and I are labeled in the same generation, and it actually occupies his brain every single day.
Right.
He can't escape it. It's on his birth certificate.
What's great about us Gen Xers is I never wanted to be a boomer. I don't want to be that.
Right.
We're the best, but abandoned malls turning into Gen X retirement homes.
Okay. Logistically speaking, I love it.
Yes.
Very spaced out.
Right.
Plenty of room
Lot
with
of
all the
room.
different things there. And
escalators, because you're not exactly moving up those stairs when you're a little older, girl.
No, very walkable layout. And let's just be real.
Mall walking.
Food court.
Ooh.
The food court being there as like a giant mess hall is fantastic. And they have all these different food options. This is actually like, again, the internet is full of anything that you want it to be.
Right.
This is one of those ideas that it's like, hey, it'll probably never happen. But if it did, I like it.
But I would build the apartments like above the mall. So you keep the mall intact with the shops.
So they can go to Zoomies.
Exactly.
And
you
PacSun.
You can do walking, walk around. Hey, I'm going to stop at Foot Locker today, right? Maybe I don't know where else I'm going to go, but I'm going to find my place in the mall.
You could spend an entire day in the Apple Genius bar with all those like iPhones and iPads that you can't touch or take out of the thing. And just play the same game demo over and over and over again.
And well, Gen X, we do understand like technology, which is funny about like Mike Evans. Mike Evans just barely got a smartphone. You know what I mean? So that's what happens with that generation. But we're good. I like the idea of abandoned malls being retirement homes for Gen Xers. Give me that, Jameis. I got another one.
All right.
Are you familiar with Polymarket at all?
Yes,
it's
the
a
thing
market
that's like
for everything.
taking over the world. Yeah.
It's a market for everything.
Like
Is it going to
Kalshi?
rain today?
Yeah.
Is it who's going to win this election? Whatever. Voting's like writing a letter to Santa Claus. Anyway, they have the odds of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ returning this year have doubled overnight.
Overnight?
From the official Polymarket account.
The rapture odds have doubled overnight.
Now it's 4%.
And that is a very flat, stagnant graph, by the way. This is a significant jump.
Yes, so it is a 4% chance that Polymarket has that I guess people are betting on. But can you imagine, do you have a gambling problem if you go to your phone, you're like, I think Jesus is coming back this year. I'm going to throw down some ducats.
That kind of action.
I'm going to throw down some money on our Lord and Savior.
That kind of heavy action coming in on the book of Revelations is unsettling.
How would you get your money? How would you get your money? How would it pay off if Jesus does return and it is the rapture? What if you're the ones that isn't raptured away? Right?
Yeah, who's running the book? Because my ticket's getting cashed. My ticket's getting cashed.
Who's running the book?
the Apostle Paul better have my freaking money. That's for sure. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Somebody up there's like, listen, everyone's gonna. I don't know.
Well, they call it Sin City, right? And I know that everyone gambles on their phone now or whatever because we're a bunch of degenerates. But like, I'm not. Who's running the book? Brother, I don't think it's the people upstairs.
That's true.
I think it's the people downstairs.
Would you rather be rich? And no, I'm kidding. All right, that is what's on.
But Polymarket doubled the chances.
That feels like the thing that NASA releases. Like, there's a chance that a
that's
17-mile wide asteroid could hit.
I thought you were talking about gravity's going to go away for 7 seconds in August.
What?
NASA's already debunked that because James brought it up. Because
I didn't know that.
James Marilat's like, you really don't like conspiracy theories, but all these ones are coming true. And then I think somebody in our digital meeting, they brought that up. Me, as the tinfoil hat guy, Kev, I need my theme music. But as the tinfoil hat guy on this station, proudly, by the way, because pretty much right about everything, that's dumb. The Earth is not flat. That's dumb. There's other conspiracy theories that are just straight up dumb. That one about gravity going away for 7 seconds, NASA's already debunked that. Like, it's dumb. We don't need that. What we need is investigations and, well, I guess now Polymarket's saying, get ready, everybody. Might be coming.
I don't know what Polymarket's odds were on Denver Nuggets trades happening before noon today, but we got an update on that front. So breaking Nuggets news coming your way next.
The champ! Are you ready? Do you consider yourself a super fan? Well, now's your chance to prove it. It's Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan Super Fan Send-Off, presented by 303 Law 4040, sending you to Las Vegas for the biggest pro wrestling event in the world. A pair of 2-night event tickets, airfare, and hotel all included, plus a $500 Visa card. So get in the ring and enter now at DenverSports.com/superfan. That's DenverSports.com/superfan.
I love it. WindowNation.com. If you're tired of your house feeling uncomfortably cold, and guess what? You go to the mailbox and open up that electric bill, and whoa, a little sticker shock there. Well, it could be your windows. And right now, Window Nation's got a buy 4, get 4 windows free sale going on, making it a great time to replace all the windows in your home. And you can get them, get this, 0 down, 0 monthly payments, and 0 interest for 2 years. WindowNation.com. They replace old or builder-grade windows, we all know what those are, with custom-built, high-quality windows measured 3 times to ensure the perfect fit and year-round comfort. The experts worked diligently with you as you get to choose from over 1,500 styles and colors. They're backed by a lifetime warranty and installed right the first time by those experienced professionals. Window Nation, proud to be a part of Team Dave Logan and a corporate supporter of the Wounded Warrior Project as a military family. That means a ton to me. So check them out online, windownation.com. And hurry, the sale ends soon. And by the way, you could even score a pair of Icon Pass 2-day sessions when you schedule a quote. So don't wait. Schedule your fast free estimate now at windownation.com.
Babe, your arms look amazing. Working out is paying off.
Thanks. I just wish my chest matched. No matter what I do, I'm frustrated with my man boobs.
Hey, don't beat yourself up. More than half of men have gynecomastia. It's gland tissue, not laziness. Same thing is happening to my friend Trisha's husband. He went to Dr. Cameron Dastery at Modern Surgical Arts of Denver.
For real? You get good results?
He got great results. Call him, honey.
Call today. They're offering complimentary consultations for the fan listeners. 303-470-3400 or at modernsurgicalarts.com.
I wish I'd gotten treated for my erectile dysfunction sooner. Men, I hear this all the time from our patients. This is Jeff for the Rocky Mountain Men's Clinic, and if ED is a problem in your life, resolve to get it treated today and stop having it affect you and the one you love. ED is simply a medical condition, and it's fully treatable. And at the Rocky Mountain Men's Clinic, we have treatments that are effective in well over 90% of cases, which means if you're like most guys, your ED will be a thing of the past. In fact, you could be having great sex within a day or two of your first appointment, and you'll likely find you're performing like you haven't in a long time. It's the new year. Resolve to get your ED treated and change your life. Call us at the Rocky Mountain Men's Clinic. Your initial visit is only $99 and includes blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call 720-440-7900 or go to RockyMountainMen'sClinic.com. We have 5 offices across the Front Range to serve you. Rocky Mountain Men's Clinic, a Promenic restorative health practice.
I'm Rob Wilhite. A car accident can change everything in a moment. For almost 50 years, my firm has gone up against insurers and won over $1 billion for our clients. If you were hit, don't wait. Evidence fades, witnesses disappear, and the insurance companies know that. We move fast, you should too. Call 303-GOOD-LAW or go to WillHiteWins.com. That's 303-GOOD-LAW or WillHiteWins.com. We're here for Coloradans when it matters most. The Wilhite Law Firm, Colorado Strong. WillHiteWins.com.
I remember brushing my hair and looking down and thinking, oh my gosh, do I have any hair left?
I used to look at women with thick, beautiful hair and think, why doesn't my hair look like that?
My thinning hair is making me feel so old.
If you want thick, healthy, gorgeous hair, then you need Hair Volume from New Nordic. With clinically proven ingredients like apple extract, biotin, and millet, Hair Volume nourishes your hair follicles to promote thicker, healthier-looking hair. Say goodbye to shedding, thin, and dull hair, and hello to thick, healthy hair with Hair Volume.
Since taking Hair Volume, the shedding has all but stopped.
Now, instead of being jealous of other women's hair, I have friends who are jealous of mine.
My hairdresser couldn't believe the difference in my hair. Now she's using Hair Volume too.
Available as a tablet or delicious gummy, Hair Volume is available online at Amazon and NewNordicUSA.com or find Hair Volume in the hair care aisle at your local CVS.
KKFN and KKFN HD1 Longmont, Denver. You're listening to Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan.
Denver Sports Snapshot.
Tonight on 104.3 HD3, DU Women's Basketball faces South Dakota starting at 5:30. Tomorrow on 104.3 HD3, DU Hockey skates with Colorado College with pregame starting at 6:30.
104.3 The Fan. We are Denver Sports.
Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan.
Front to kick off quarter number 3 here on Dover and Cecil. Richie Carney sitting in for Josh Dover.
Let's do this thing.
Cecil Lammy. Cecil, I've got it here in front of me from Shams Charania of ESPN. The Denver Nuggets are trading Hunter Tyson and a 2032 second-round pick to the Brooklyn Nets for the lesser favorable of a Clippers Hawks 2026 second-round pick, sources tell ESPN. By doing this, Denver creates an open roster spot for the buyout market and gets out of the luxury tax.
Yes.
So
Hunter Tyson Hunter, we barely knew
Yes, Clemson legend. Hunter Tyson Hunter is now a Brooklyn Net.
Yes.
Becoming a more regular trade partner for the Denver Broncos in recent years.
You need those type of teams in all of sports, right? You need those familiar teams, easy to work with teams, and you need teams that want to help you get your money off the books.
Is this the trade
I can't believe Shams tweeted about that.
Right.
Like we knew based on going into this thing, like it was going to be Zeke Najee's dealt, Hunter Tyson's dealt, something like that. But that's it. Like there's no Christian Brown trade. There's no Payton Watson trade, so he doesn't become a Laker next year because he's totally going to be a Laker next year. But it's like, yeah, we knew this was going to happen. But to be able to, and don't get me into Dover always does this. He's so fascinated by this, like the NBA second apron, you know what I mean? And like, oh, this is a cat. I'm like, okay, nerd, pocket protector. All I know is now they're going to be able to be more flexible with what they do salary cap wise going forward.
Yes, but I think there's two sides to look at it. And I don't share Dover's fascination with it. I think the apron structure and the luxury tax penalties that they've put in place are damaging to some of the competitive balance of the NBA. I think it just now, if you're the Oklahoma City Thunder and Sam Presti, who was on the tip of the spear of creating all this, and you were able to set your team up for success the way that he has, I'd probably feel differently about it. But the Nuggets have kind of been resistant up to this point to really dive headfirst into that pool because they watch teams like the Boston Celtics who went all in, paid 4 of their 5 stars, basically max money, and went way into that luxury tax headfirst and then had to cannibalize and gut their entire roster because of it. And yeah, they can still be competitive in the East and do their thing, but that's just not Stan Kroenke's way. That's not how he has chosen to operate. This move to me, Cecil, is small in nature, and it signifies that the Nuggets went out and did exactly what they basically telegraphed they were going to do. Going into next season with the contract extensions that'll kick in, they were going to be about $500,000 into that second apron of the luxury tax. This puts them below that, opens up a roster spot on the buyout market because we've already seen a number of trades come down across the NBA these past couple of days with buyouts expected in a handful of cases. And they still have decisions to make on Spencer Jones.
Right.
And we'll see what happens with Payton Watson and his injury timeline.
And Spencer Jones with his own injury now.
Yep, exactly. With the
You're
head injury
headbutting
there.
Big Cat and causing a big old gash.
Sassy. Never headbutt a guy with that much sass.
Yeah, he's got a lot of sass.
He does. He's fabulous. The Nuggets, to me, I understand the logic and the rationale behind why they made this move. Again, this is what they telegraphed they were going to do. Mark Stein, another NBA insider, said, hey, don't expect any blockbusters involving the Denver Nuggets. They're going to tinker and tool, get themselves under that second apron for next year's season, and bank on the health of the guys coming back, maybe picking up a small acquisition on the buyout market here or there. Do they need to do anything more than that?
No, they need to get everybody healthy. That's what they need to do. The way this team is built, it's NBA Finals, it's Western Conference Finals, or bust for them. And it's okay seeing them, right? And there's others that can get involved. We're still waiting on a major trade. Giannis hasn't been moved, right?
And he's not going to be.
Not going to be.
Nope. They came out. The Bucks came out and said that they are going to keep Giannis past the deadline and look to make other moves.
Okay.
So he's not
just
going to be
make
in
him
Miami,
mad and then trade him in the offseason.
Exactly.
That's what they've done. So good job, Milwaukee.
Yeah.
But either way, do the Nuggets need to do anything? No, just get healthy. Just get healthy. If this roster's right, and that's the blessing, I guess, and silver lining of this season, when you look at all the injuries they've had to deal with and the fact that Payton Watson had to be relied on offensively so much, and then he came through, and even a guy like Spencer Jones, who's had to start, and he's come through. Like, so for these guys, Jalen Pickett, we appreciate. We always appreciate Timmy Hardaway. But the fact that they've been leaning on more of their bench players because they've had to, and those guys have paid off mostly, I see that as a good thing for the postseason when your lineup gets smaller. So now you know that limited roster you're going to have in the postseason. As long as everybody's healthy, those guys got plenty of John Fox term skins on the wall. They've got plenty of experience. They've got plenty of court time, and they're ready to go. They're going to be very sharp in the postseason so long as they're all healthy. And the only player I would worry about, because he was just starting to get going before his injury, was Cam Johnson. Kind of forget about him, right? Yep. He's kind of the forgotten man. Like we talk about Peyton Watson and we talk about Christian Brown. We don't really talk about Cam Johnson. The fact that he wasn't fitting in, and then it looked like he was going to fit in really nice, and then he got hurt. So Cam's the only player I'd worry about. Like, okay, can you reestablish that chemistry quickly with Cam Johnson and do that as the postseason is luring like right towards you? Is that the case with this team? If they're healthy, they can go a long way.
I agree with your premise there, Cecil. I think if the Nuggets are healthy and at full strength, the way we saw them for 15 games this season, mostly at the beginning of the season, to be at full strength and full health and availability, we got 15 games and they won 12 of them. I think this Nuggets team at full health and full strength can beat any team in the NBA, especially in a 7-game series type of setup. But is it also fair to say, Cecil, that I'm starting to have some doubts creeping in about whether or not the Nuggets can get everybody healthy, that they can circle those wagons and have all these different varying injury timelines and in some cases re-injury timelines line up to where when the postseason rolls around in mid-April, they're firing on all cylinders. Cecil, it does unfortunately feel to me like there's an argument to say this Nuggets team, damn it, they're snake-bitten a little bit with the injury perspective in 2025.
Yeah, but when is the timing of it? You know what I mean? They're snake-bitten now, It's February. I was going to say it was January. It's just turned February.
It's been January for a year, but we are now in the new year of February.
Yeah, we're fine. We're fine. If they're snake bit in April, you're screwed. If they're snake bit in November, it's like, okay, off to a rough start, whatever, see how you come back. You've got plenty of time to get the players you need to get healthy, and then to get this thing kind of sharpened for the postseason. So what else could be coming for the Denver Nuggets? These are questions. Our buddy Adam Mares from DNVR had questioned, like, hey, are they going to move a Deron Holmes or a Drew Strother for a backup power forward or a point guard on expiring deal? Is that something you're looking for? Now, I'm the Julian Strother guy. I love his game. Saw him come through. Even our man ZB texted me last night during the game. He's like, your guy Strother is making plays. I'm like, yeah, he's coming through. Not as much as Peyton Watson was when Peyton Watson had the opportunity, but with Strother and that young man, Deron Holmes, speaking of forgotten man.
I know.
He is
just disappeared to the G League,
he
got
was
hurt.
Calvin's kind of like, that's the guy.
Yeah.
And it's probably never going to happen. I was excited about Deron Holmes and the potential and the possibility therein with that young man, but at this point, it's like, okay, do you make a move to get something else, backup power forward, backup point guard? Do you move Julian Strother, who's put out some good film, right? Is that something that's possibly coming? I hope not. The Zeke Naji contract, getting that off your books. I know our man Dover on his Sabrina Carpenter day off, he was definitely excited about getting Zeke off the books. So you may have some more moves for this team, but this move for Hunter Tyson, if that's the one they've already done, just to dump his money, yeah, that's what they were going to do. I'm not really expecting very much more.
In case you're just joining us, the Denver Nuggets, per Shams Charania, have made a trade ahead of the deadline. They move Hunter Tyson and a 2032 second-round pick to the Brooklyn Nets for the lesser favorable of a LA Clippers, Atlanta Hawks 2026 second-round pick, sources tell ESPN. And the speculation, the reporting is that this move not only creates an open roster spot on the buyout market, or potentially for a guy like Spencer Jones, who is now out of availability on his two-way contract, and the Nuggets would have to make a more permanent commitment to him to have him be a contributor for the rest of the season, but also puts them below that ever-important pending luxury tax second apron line for next season when more extensions start to kick in with CB and Aaron Gordon, and you got Jamal Murray and all of that. So this was the move and the mission that the Nuggets had set out on, and I think that was in part because of the front-end moves they made last offseason with the wheeling and dealing that Ben Tenzer and Jonathan Wallace had done. Cecil, I agree with you. I said it last week and even the week before, with all these injuries that have mounted up, the mission for the Nuggets, in my opinion, it's not about chasing seeding anymore. It's not about, they don't have the luxury of being like, hey, we got to make sure we get the 2 seed and stay out of OKC's side of the bracket. And all that. I don't think they have that luxury anymore. They really do need to shut it down, huddle up, get everybody healthy.
Get healthy, get right.
Even if that means you're a 6 seed or you're on the wrong side of the bracket or you have a less favorable path to an NBA Finals appearance than you would have had in another universe, you're not in another universe, and I think they just have to say, hey, at full strength and health, we can beat anybody, which I truly believe. They might just have to go out there and prove it.
Yeah, and I'm okay with that. Now, I don't think second seed's just, like, gone.
No.
Dissipated whatsoever. And the way they were able to win without Nikola Jokic kept their kind of head above the water when it comes to second seed conversations.
That to me is the biggest thing they have proven, the Denver Nuggets, to me, over the course of this season. They did things that I didn't think were possible. They played a game without all 5 starters and 2 key reserves in Valanciunas and Tim Hardaway, and beat a 76ers team that was healthy. They went toe-to-toe with some teams in the Eastern Conference and even Western Conference foes without being at full strength. The Oklahoma City Thunder, the Houston Rockets, the Detroit Pistons twice in the last 9 days or so. They went toe-to-toe with those guys, not at full health or full strength, cobbling together a lineup with a first full-time year head coach and proved that they could hold their own, even if it ended up being a loss. They played with a winning record for a month without Nikola Jokic.
Yeah.
Never in the world would I have thought that was possible.
Will Peterson owes me a coffee for that.
Is he excited about it?
No. He said they would be less than 500, and I said they'd be 500. They were better than 500.
See, so I stood right over there compared to where you're sitting right now with Will Peterson and said, you're out of your mind. Dover and I were talking about, hey, if they can be like 7-11 That would be awesome. Like
Right,
7-Eleven would be like, cheers, dude.
Yes, you did it. We did it, guys. But it's based on what we saw in previous iterations of this Nuggets team without Nikola Jokic, very briefly. But whenever we've seen them without Joker, they stink. But this is now Jamal Starr. This is Peyton Watson coming through. Strawther when he's healthy. So the talent, the array, Spencer Jones, got to give him a shout out. It's much, much different. There's only one thing I'm curious about with this Tyson Hunter Tyson deal.
Tell me.
Is this the least liked tweet ever by Shams?
We're going to have to go through his
Seriously,
trade
how many
deadline.
followers does he have?
I
right?
can tell you
how
that
many
in
followers
about-
does Shams Charania have?
It's got to be millions.
It's millions. It's millions, right? 3 million, 2 million. Well, give me a number. That's his following. And because I said it yesterday, we talked about Zeke Najee or Tyson Hunter getting moved, and I was like, yeah, but Shams isn't going to tweet that.
3.5 million.
Okay,
followers.
so with 3.5 million followers, how many? I want to see the comment section. How many people are like, who? You know what I mean? How many people are like, what?
Hacked.
Right. So with Shams, because I didn't think Shams would tweet that out. They're getting rid of Hunter Tyson. It's a strategy.
All right, here
for
you
the
go.
second apron.
We'll do this live.
Okay.
We are up to 620,000 views. It's got 792 retweets.
How many likes?
5.1 thousand.
Wow.
5,100.
That's actually more than I thought.
Yeah.
And how many of the comments are like, who is this guy?
The first comment is from a Colorado sports Twitter regular with just the word thoughts and then tagging Mark Knutson.
Okay.
We will never forget the 4-point play against Philly. Thank you, Hunter Tyson.
Okay, there you go. Yeah, thank him very much.
A meme that says Hunter Tyson seeing he got traded for a, quote, lesser favorable pick, and it's just some kid in the stands staring up with teary eyes.
The internet is undefeated, and it's very
That's
brutal.
really good.
It's
I'm
very
actually going to
brutal.
like that tweet live in real time right now. That's hilarious.
Yes.
Why would they be doing this trade? Denver dodging the luxury tax.
Yeah.
They're cheap, this and that. Yeah.
They're smart.
All right, so let's
They are cheap. They're cheap, but they're actually being smart with this.
We'll go here. All right. So actually, this tweet is more liked than the 2 or 3 that came out within 5 minutes of it. About the Boston Celtics trade, the 76ers trade.
Right.
Hunter Tyson might have an underground NBA following that we're just not aware of.
Okay, and maybe it's the Clemson thing, like you said.
Could be.
Right?
Clemson
Amazing
legend.
superstar, Clemson legend. Tyson Hunter Tyson.
On the RamosLaw.com text line 303-713-1043. I thought Shams was a girl. I am so out of the loop, bro. Yes.
That's worse than the Sabrina Carpenter thing.
Yes.
Dover not knowing Sabrina Carpenter is terrible. It's awful. It's the worst thing ever. And now you caused a day off because he had to find out who she was.
That is my fault. I raised my hand.
Not knowing Shams was a dude
That's more than just having your head in the sand.
is
that's
NBA Centel Woj. Have you ever gone down that rabbit hole?
I like that one. I like that one.
I like the idea of it.
Glorified burner.
I don't think that Woj is NBA Centel, but if he was, it'd be kind of cool.
All right, I want to pivot to the Denver Broncos here. We will keep our eyes peeled on the male Shams Charania Twitter account with any more potential Nuggets updates. I want to pivot to something that Mike Kliss talked about earlier. And actually, you know what? Let's put a pin in that. I think I want to ask you, Cecil, because this is what I was going to ask Kliss about Jahdae Barron, right? He was the first-round pick for the Broncos this past year. Surprising a lot of people, I think is fair to say, right?
Yeah.
When they picked Jahdae Barron at 20 with Omarion Hampton still on the board, with clear needs at running back, at tight end, and so much momentum in that direction from all the mocksters to local,
You still had
national.
Jaquan McMillan. You had Chris Abrams-Drain. I was at Sportsbook. I had to go outside and do a video with Danilo of like, what do you think of Jahdae Barron?
You drafted.
This is a shocker.
You drafted a first-round talented cornerback out of Texas.
No doubt. Yeah, no doubt. Zero doubt.
Adding him to a room that had the reigning defensive player of the year, a serviceable at minimum starter opposite that in Riley Moss, plus Jaquan McMillan, like you mentioned, and Chris Abrams-Drain. Just kind of felt like that wasn't the direction many were going to think the Broncos would go.
Right.
Then we get through the 2025 regular season, Cecil, and the final tally is that Jahdae Barron participates in 20% of the defensive snaps over the course of the season. And there was a pretty clear emphasis on not pushing him into that Jaquan McMillan role, not putting him as a boundary threat to Riley Moss on the outside.
Yeah.
And really
Let
just
him
kind
get
of
his feet wet.
slow roll into it mentality.
Yeah.
Slow roll mentalities are not traditionally what is expected, I think, of first-round picks in the NFL.
Yeah,
right?
especially for teams that are in a Super Bowl window. Now, I was the one saying they'd win 13 games. You all said I was crazy. I was actually wrong. They won 14 games.
I was going to say you were the least crazy.
So I'm going to ask a question. I already know the answer, maybe, but I think it bears asking. It's kind of silly, so forgive me. Did George Payton not think they were Super Bowl contenders? Because you don't spend a luxury pick in the first round when you need a first-round impact guy. And I stick by my story, not only with the Jarrett Stidham take, but with this take. You don't have your first-rounder play 5 snaps in an AFC Championship game. That's a mistake.
Mm-hmm.
So either Jade should have played more, or you should have had a Marion Hampton. You should have had Travion Henderson, because I guarantee those guys wouldn't have been playing 5 snaps in an AFC Championship game.
Bingo. And that's where I was going with that is, if given the opportunity, first of all, to answer your question, I think the Broncos thought they were Super Bowl contenders.
Sean did, yeah.
And I think because Sean did, everybody else at a minimum.
Why didn't George pick like a Super Bowl contender then? He picked like
question.
a team that, we can develop this guy. And what I've often said, I say this about Caleb Lohner, the Garage Project tight end. I don't care if Caleb Lohner's a Pro Bowler in 2 years. They needed him now.
Yeah.
And you say, it's 7th round. Who cares? Yeah, Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt, Kyle Monaghan,
Jonathan Cooper.
Look them up. They were good. I'm talking about the picks from last year.
Yeah.
Right? Just those 2 running backs could have helped you this year. And you needed to take 2 running backs with this great class. And then I go to Jahdae Barron. If you're a Super Bowl contender, you don't draft a luxury pick of he's our 4th corner. He's our 5th corner, whatever it is. No, you get a guy that can help you now because you're a Super Bowl contender.
All right, Cecil. So if given the opportunity to redraft the first 2 rounds of the 2025 NFL draft for the Broncos, with the Broncos sitting there at 20th overall selecting Jahdae Barron, if you could go back in time and redo it, and you're the one submitting the draft card, do you make the same call?
No. I think it's ridiculous to suggest that they would. Even though Jahdae Barron's right there, and I didn't think Jahdae Barron would be available at 20.
Neither did George Payton. He said it.
This is like a Bradley Chubb thing all over again.
I agree.
Oh, I can't believe it. Now, I think Elway was either lying or not paying attention. Sorry, John. When he said, we didn't, there were 0 mock drafts. No, there were tons of mocks where Bradley Chubb was there. Tons.
NFL mock draft database had at least 40.
The internet has the receipts, John. You're wrong. There was a ton of mocks where Bradley Chubb was there. So it's not like we just had to because we weren't expecting this. The Jahdae Barron thing at 20, even though it was a surprise to me, Mr. Draft Guy, okay, it was a surprise to me that he was there. I'm still looking at Travion Henderson or Marion Hampton as that's the pick.
ESPN did this exact thought exercise, and they
didn't pick Jahdae again, did they?
They used their writer from each market to basically submit
that's Leggy.
That pick. And so Legwold was the pick, and at 20th overall in the first round in a redraft scenario, he had the Broncos selecting Jahdae Barron anyways again, saying that they had targeted R.J. Harvey this whole time. They knew he could get him there, and they weren't going to step over the crystal, basically,
right.
Because they needed a blender, to quote George Payton in his rationale there. And here's what makes it crazier, Cecil, is in this ESPN redraft scenario of the first 2 rounds, Leggy still has them picking Jahdae Barron with every running back still available on the board. Ashton Genty did not go before 20 in this redraft scenario. Neither did Omarion Hampton. Neither did, obviously, any of the running backs, Travion and Quinshon, after that. So not only did Leggy have the Broncos doubling down on the Jahdae Barron pick, he had them doing it without any running back being taken off the board. Colston Loveland, Tyler Warren both did go, so there was no tight end fascination or temptation there.
Sure.
Wait,
Ashton Genty was still there?
Yes.
No way.
Yes.
No way.
Cecil,
no
could
way.
not.
Zero chance Leggy did this. I'm going to talk to Leggy about this. There's zero chance he did this.
He did.
With Ashton Genty on the board. Are we sure about that? You sure? I feel like that one guy. You sure about that? You sure about that? Ashton Genty is a...
Hampton and Genty were both on the board.
Thank you. I was like, I didn't read this wrong.
No, it needs to be Genty and Hampton because Hampton was not a first-round graded player, but was... Kev's favorite was Hampton. I'm like, it's Genty. Genty was on the board?
Here's
Leggy,
where I'm at with
baby.
this.
Come on.
Cecil,
come on.
I could not disagree with this assessment and that move any more than I do sitting here in this chair right now. And I would go either way. Obviously, if Ashton Genty was on the board, given what we saw in hindsight with the Broncos running back game during and post J.K. Dobbins and the role that R.J. Harvey kind of thrived in compared to what they needed him to, even if Ashton Genty hadn't been available and the board in a redraft had fallen very similarly, I would have been absolutely fine taking Omarion Hampton, who I thought and wanted them to pick. I would have been thrilled if they had taken Quinshon Judkins or Travion Henderson at 20 and overdrafting for that need because of the way I saw in hindsight it play out. I thought Quinshon Judkins looked pretty damn good on a Browns team that was void of a lot of talent and a lot of structure.
Genty's on the board. That's the pick, period. I hesitate to ask where Jihad Campbell was, because it would have been overdrafting Omarion at 20. He was a second-round graded player,
He went 3 picks later.
Exactly. So he went 3 picks later to a division rival.
Yeah.
But if you're telling me Ashton Genty on the board, that's the pick. Like, that's the pick. That's the pick. And by the way, it was the favorite running back that was available to them was R.J. Harvey, because Sean Payton had to tell himself to shut up and like all that. I believe, and you can consider this a Lassie bark if you'd like. What's that? Timmy's trapped in a well? I believe the number one back on their board that was unattainable was Ashton Genty. I personally believe that, and you can take that as whatever you want, because I can't look at any team, I can't look at anybody knowing the skill level of Ashton Genty and then being like, oh, at 20 he's still there? Nah. That doesn't make sense.
Jihad Campbell went 36 to the
and
Jaguars,
I love Leggy. Leggy's my boy, but dude, this is wrong. This is wrong.
And then in the second round, because it's a 2-round redraft, right? So in the second round, the Broncos originally had the 51st overall pick before trading back twice to select eventually R.J. Harvey. So there's no trade backs and no trades at all in this scenario. Everybody picks at their slotted alignment. And in this redraft, Jeff Legwold did not have the Broncos selecting R.J. Harvey. He instead had them selecting Terrence Ferguson, the tight end out of Oregon.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he said...
Colorado's own, Terrence Ferguson.
Yeah, Colorado native, Terrence Ferguson.
Plays basketball with Bo.
He played 39% of the snaps for the Rams and clearly showcased some athleticism, in that offense with Matthew Stafford. Do you agree with Legwold's assessment there in the second round to not go after R.J. Harvey, but to select Terrence Ferguson, knowing that you still selected Jahdae Barron in the first round? So now you're entering the third round of the NFL draft without a running back to speak of behind J.K. Dobbins. Do you agree with that assessment? Yeah,
I like Terrence Ferguson, so
do I.
It's the Genty thing.
That's why, to me, the perfect redraft would have been take Ashton Genty and then
take Terrence
Ferguson. Go running back and tight end. Golly shucks, exactly like so many of us wanted the Broncos to do in that draft. I think Jahdae Barron is a good player. I think he is somebody that can develop and grow into a legitimate piece of a secondary that already features 3 All-Pros. I just don't think that the Broncos need that more than they needed an impact player in the run game and a pass-catching, playmaking tight end. All right, coming up next, it's the offseason of Bo Nix. So who should be on Bo's board for the Broncos to target? We have a new name every day, which means we have one today, and we will tell you who it is coming up next.
Do the Broncos need to double down on the tight end position again this offseason?
I'm not interested in garage projects. I'm not interested in blocking tight ends. This team needs playmakers. This team needs weapons. And because of that, you're going to need to get 2. You're going to need to get a free agent, and you're going to need to have a rookie.
Denver Sports 104.3. The Fan.
Gentlemen, what's going on? Josh over here to talk to you about my team over at Rocky Mountain Men's Clinic. I got to go hang with the guys last night. We were all out at the Avs game, hanging out with the Rocky Mountain Men's Clinic crew. It's awesome to, one, be around folks that are passionate about what they do. And that's exactly what Jeff and his team are. Met Daniel, Matt, guys over at the central location where I go to deal with low testosterone, which is what they've helped me out with. But check it out. They're up in their game this year, just like you should be. They're going further, helping men even more with targeted body composition programs, GH peptides, NAD+, GLP-1. You're hearing that all over right now, right? For your weight loss, PDA, and more, all designed to boost metabolism, improve recovery, increase your energy, and accelerate fat loss. Most men wait to start treatment. Why? Your body's not going to get right. You're not going to just magically fix yourself. As we get older, we start to break things down. That's why T levels matter. That's why they can help you out with your sex life and now with body composition programs. Like I said, these guys that own it, operate it, run it day to day, they're passionate about helping men, and they've helped tens of thousands of men right here in the Mile High City. So if you're looking to make a change this year, and you want your body to change with you, there's no better place to get it done than RockyMountainMen'sClinic.com.
Featured therapies are compounded and have not been evaluated nor approved by the FDA. Provider prescription required. See website for details.
Looking to upgrade your kitchen, laundry room, or outdoor cooking area? Look no further than Mountain High Appliance. I'm Brad Barnett, president of Mountain High Appliance. We have hundreds of appliances hooked up live for a true try-before-you-buy experience, plus professional delivery and installation. Our price match guarantee ensures you receive the best deal, and special financing options make your purchase affordable. When it's time for new appliances, think Mountain High Appliance.
Mountain High Appliance, your favorite appliance store.
Thank you.
Hey guys, your boy Mark Schlereth here from my friends at Xfinity. Now, when Team USA is on, you can almost see the moment when the kid starts believing, hey, I could be next. Now, while Xfinity can't guarantee that, they can guarantee something super important. That's your internet price won't change for 5 years. No contracts, no commitments. So, while your kid's ordering online or streaming highlight reels, your Xfinity internet price won't change. It will not budge. And who knows, by the time the next Winter Olympics roll around, your kid could be getting fitted for their very own Team USA uniform. And guess what? You'll be paying the same price for reliable Wi-Fi. And there's even more to enjoy with Xfinity Gold Medal Celebration. Now through February 22nd, get our best price on gig Wi-Fi for 5 years guaranteed, just $50 a month. Plus, get Peacock Premium included for 10 years. That's a $10.99 value each month. Xfinity, imagine that. Proud partner of Team USA. Restrictions apply. Requires paperless billing and auto-paid with stored bank account. Taxes, fees, extras. Actual speeds may vary.
Hi, I'm Terrell Davis, two-time world champion and Pro Football Hall of Famer. There is nothing more important than your health.
This February, save up to 50% off on select premium equipment. Visit one of Fitness Gallery's 7 convenient locations from Colorado Springs to Fort Collins.
Okay, does this happen to anybody else? You sit down with a juicy QPC, some McNuggets, and those golden fries from McDonald's. Then you take a long sip of your Sprite because you can still hear your mama saying, don't fill up on that drink before you eat your food. But you're grown now, so you do what you want.
Share and share alike with the 20-piece McNuggets from McDonald's for just $6. Limited time only. Price and participation may vary. Cannot be combined with any other offer.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Women go through many changes in their lives. And we believe each milestone matters. That every new candle represents another step in your story. Our healthcare experts support women at every stage of life. Because each chapter deserves to be celebrated. Women's health. Nurture what's next. Find care near you at mountain.commonspirit.org. Common Spirit Health. Human kindness lives here.
I'm Rob Wilhite. If you've been in a car accident, you need experience that wins. For almost 50 years in Colorado, my firm has recovered over $1 billion for crash victims. Call 303-GOOD-LAW or visit willhitewins.com. That's willhitewins.com.
This segment on 104.3 The Fan is brought to you by Trade Gen Wealth, your trusted local fiduciary advisors.
Woodley's Fine Furniture, specializing in custom upholstery, solid wood, and the most comfortable leather furniture imaginable. You will not find better built furniture than at Woodley's. Visit woodleys.com today.
Denver Sports Snapshot.
Tonight on 104.3 HD3, DU women's basketball faces South Dakota starting at 5:30. Tomorrow on 104.3 HD3, DU hockey skates with Colorado College with pregame starting at 6:30.
104.3 The Fan. We are Denver Sports.
You're listening to Dover and Cecil on Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan.
Peace up, A-Town down is one of those lines that just anytime somebody says it or you hear that that horn beat right there at the beginning and you're like, it's about to go down.
Do you know the greatest thing about that song? Is then I think of Chappelle's Show. What?
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
When Lil Jon's at the airport, like, would you like to book a flight? Okay. Right?
That's good.
We can't actually book you on this flight. What?
Oh, my gosh.
Right? Yeah, it's Dave Chappelle. There's no show greater than the Chappelle Show.
The uncancelable Dave Chappelle.
Yes.
You can try, but you will fail.
Yes,
and that,
you will
I think,
fail.
is the biggest credit to his greatness.
And the way that he dances around certain sensitive topics is enjoyable. Let's just say that.
Him asking people how they would feel if LeBron James scored 900 points a night in the NBA or in the WNBA is always going to be one of my favorites.
Chappelle, man. He's a legend.
Bo Nix. We put together Bo's board. It's been an ongoing segment here on Dover and Cecil. Richie Carney sitting in for Josh Dover. And today's name is interesting, Cecil. It's a little bit of a thought exercise, and we did it a little bit earlier. I want to catch our listeners, catch the tribe up to speed here. We've gone through names like Breece Hall, David Njoku, Mike Washington, Kyle Pitts, which would be crazy. Denzel Boston from Washington, the wide receiver, Tyler Algier. And we land on today's name, Chicken Fingers, who is... Today's name, Chicken Fingers, who is...
Now he's airing it out deep down the field for Pierce. Pierce, touchdown!
Jones, floated, end zone! Pierce has got it! Touchdown, Indianapolis!
Touchdown, Alec Pierce for the Denver Broncos.
7 seconds later than it should have been.
Do you want Alec Pierce? A lot of Broncos fans out there, whenever we bring up Bo's board, and Bo's board is performing very well on our YouTube channel, What's Up YouTube? And at 9 p.m. every night, this segment is posted as its own show.
Yeah.
And it's something that fans get to respond to. You get to chime in the comment section. We are in the comment section, chiming back in with you, having that conversation. And how many times I've heard, even in the live chat here on YouTube during our live show, it's like, hey, what about Alec Pierce? What about Alec Pierce? Well, what about him is that he's a playmaker, that he's actually larger than you would think, right? Because you just think, Alec Pierce, what, he's like 6 feet, 6'1"?
Yeah, you see Alec with a C, and you're like, that guy's got to start with a C.
Yeah, and, well, he's a 6'3" wide receiver that can absolutely fly. And over the last 2 years, 21 yards a catch.
1,003 yards on 47 receptions is actually, it looks like a typo.
Didn't Marvin have 40 receptions or something?
Something like that,
yeah. So, like, wow. Wow, amazing talent, amazing skill, amazing ability, and he's one of those guys that's like, okay, you wanted weapons, you wanted playmakers, you wanted Bo Nix, and I some people slam on Bo about this. I personally don't, because he's running the system, he's finding the open guy, but remember how somebody, that's Bo, he's a dink and dunk, and he's got the Bover throws, remember, cute, woo, make it in with Bo Nix, but like, I think with a guy like Alec Pierce to stretch the field, it's something that the Broncos should be considering. There's just one thing that keeps me from wanting Alec Pierce. Even though he's on Bo's board, it's a thought experiment. Let's talk about it. I want a discussion.
He has Megan Fox thumbs?
No. That's not a deal breaker, by the way. If I'm going to go Tina Fey on you for a little bit, deal breaker.
That's not a deal breaker?
No.
I didn't say it was. I said that the Avs power play was Megan Fox's thumbs, and you just get over it because she's Megan Fox. Like, the Avs are amazing.
The Avs need a better power play, but
they do.
Alec Pierce going to make Spot Track has it a projected salary around $21 million annually, and if Cortland Sutton is making 20 plus annually, and you've got Alec Pierce making 20 plus annually. Is that really the best plan? I got Joel Klatt on my shoulder, right? Like the little devil, little angel. And Klatt, what does he always say to Mike Evans being moist whenever Klatt's on? Is he says, wide receiver is a dependent position.
Correct.
You don't overpay for wide receiver. You've got one $20 million wide receiver who fans want more from in Court. We love Court, but you want more.
Mm-hmm.
You really want to go pay another $20 million for another wide receiver?
Yep.
Even as skilled and as much as Alec Pierce would be that playmaker, would be that weapon for this Broncos team. That money keeps me from being real in on this.
I think that's very reasonable. There is a history, even here in Denver, of paying multiple wide receivers at the same time, but it does create limitations at other areas on the roster that require some funds that you have to kind of make a little bit of a Sophie's choice there. Look at what the Bengals did with Jamar Chase and T. Higgins, and I don't think it's worked out as much as Joe Burrow is probably happy. He was campaigning for both guys to get paid and get their money, and they do what they do with Chase Brown and whatever. That's not a team that I would want to emulate in terms of a model of success, the Cincinnati Bengals.
Right.
You asked me if I would want Alec Pierce, and I think that's an interesting question, because what I want is better production, reliability, and explosive play potential from the wide receiver room. That's what I want.
Okay.
So I guess if that's what I want, does Alec Pierce provide those things? In theory, he does. 6 to 7 touchdowns over the last 2 seasons consecutively, 21 yards per reception, like you pointed out earlier. But It comes with a price tag. And I just don't know if I love that price tag either. However, you got to do something. Like Kevin said, it ain't our money. Attention, Walmart shoppers. I get it. You got to do something. And if you're not going to aggressively spend in other areas, or you feel confident you can skip in other areas, then maybe you go down that path. To me, it hinges on one thing. What does Marvin Mims look like in 2026? Because that, to me, answers your question about whether Alec Pierce should or shouldn't be on Bo's board or be a target.
Okay, can we take it away
Payton
from Marvin for just a second? Not that you're wrong in this, but is it really about Marvin or is it about them? I am so disappointed.
Who's them?
Them. Sean Payton. I am so disappointed that Sean Payton didn't use Marvin Mims more this year.
Mm-hmm.
It was right there for him. It was Mims' third year.
Why didn't he?
Wide receivers take 3 years. Because he had a fascination with Troy Franklin early in this year. Remember about halfway through the year when Troy Franklin led the team in targets?
Yeah.
That was wrong.
Cortland Sutton. Yeah.
That was wrong. Cortland Sutton should be the number one. But why is it? And Pat Bryant has a ton of skill, and he certainly loves him some blockers. Last time I noticed, Sean, you don't get points for blocking. Marvin Mims gets you points. Marvin Mims gets you big plays. Marvin Mims gives you, and the stuff he does as a returner, I think they use as an excuse. This is me ranting because I flip and love Marvin Mims, and I think that but we, special teams, and I get that he's an all-pro level returner, but I want to see where that line is where you're wearing Marvin out. If we had actually witnessed it and said, you know what, they used Marvin Mims more, he had 1,000 yards receiving, but his return game went down. You know what I mean? If Marvin Mims took a step back as a returner, I would say, whoa. We know where the line is. Marvin can be like an 800-yard guy, not a 1,000-yard guy, 1,200-yard guy. Marvin Mims could get there. The skill is there with him. So you say this hinges on Marvin, brother, you're half right. It hinges on what they think Marvin can do, because Marvin can already do it.
I'll accept that.
Marvin could already do it.
I'll accept that because what Marvin Mims looks like and what Marvin Mims we get in 2026 isn't entirely reliant on Marvin Mims. It involves the input from a play calling perspective from Sean Payton, maybe Davis Webb, and what the rest of the room looks like in terms of taking their next step in development. So I'll give you that. I think we're kind of saying the same thing, just maybe one's a little bit more zoomed out, and I don't disagree with it. Because if Marvin Mims looks like, for the majority of the season, the Marvin Mims we got in 2025, in 2026, they're going to need more out of that wide receiver room. And whether that means bringing in Alec Pierce, drafting a guy like Denzel Boston, whatever it is, that's firmly in play. Now, if Marvin Mims gets utilized the way he was in the postseason, where he had, 8 catches for 90-something yards and a touchdown?
8 for 93 and a touchdown.
8 for 93 and a touch. If that's a more consistent Marvin Mims than we get, and you can pair that with another step forward for Troy Franklin, a healthy and available and continuing to grow Pat Bryant, and maybe another receiving threat in free agency of the draft at the tight end position, okay, maybe I'm not as desperate to go out and spend $20+ million on an Alec Pierce type in a not that great looking wide receiver crop in free agency.
Yeah, I think that's something. If you look at our Bo's board, which we're doing every day right here on Dover and Cecil, probably not going to have a lot of free agent wide receivers.
I think that's why you saw Jacoby Myers get locked up, traded for. I think that teams are probably looking ahead.
And
going,
by the way, the Colts might franchise tag Alec Pierce.
Yikes.
So this could be a moot point anyway.
All right, well, coming up next, we have a little bit of movement, some friction around the NFL, already projecting Cecil Lammy's favorite mock drafts for 2026. Some interesting names popping up for the Broncos. We want to put them on your radar coming up next.
How concerning is the lack of production for the Avalanche on the power play?
If this doesn't change, they will get beat again in the postseason the same way that they did last year because of the same issue that somehow it's gotten worse.
Denver Sports 104.3. The Fan.
This message comes from Viking, committed to exploring the world in comfort. Journey through the heart of Europe on an elegant Viking longship with thoughtful service, destination-focused dining, and cultural enrichment on board and on shore. With small ships that bring travelers closer to the destination, there's more time to explore. And every Viking voyage is all-inclusive, with no children and no casinos. Discover more at Viking.com.
You're still grooving, still connecting, still loving, still turning up, still thriving. You still got it, but your immune system, it weakens as you age. That's where vaccines come in. They help train and strengthen your immune response to fight off respiratory illnesses like flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, or COVID-19. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. Book in minutes at vaxassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Hey guys, it's Mark Schlereth, and home show season in February is when homeowners make the smartest improvement decision before the demand hits. If windows are in your future, Gravina's Window Center of Littleton offers Infinity by Marvin fiberglass windows built for strength, efficiency, and long-term value. And this February, you'll save 25% plus enjoy 12 months zero-interest financing. Visit windowsforyourhome.com or call them at 303-794-0490.
This is the story of the one. As the purchasing manager at a manufacturing plant, she knows the only thing more important than having the right safety gear is having it there when you need it. That's why she partners with Grainger for auto reordering, so her team members can count on her to have cut-resistant gloves on hand, and each shift can run safely and efficiently. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Tired of hearing scary radio ads about the IRS? Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000 or $500,000, we have a solution. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS with zero risk to you. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with a BBB. End your tax nightmare today by visiting TRA.com or call 800-583-6681. That's 800-583-6681.
Hey, what's up? It's Zach here. And if you're looking for your new go-to spot in Centennial, the Basketball Social House is it. Award-winning food and drinks, an incredible weekend brunch, and a brand new sports bar entertainment space where you can catch every Colorado game. Even if you're not playing, it's a great hang. But if you are, their private basketball suites are unreal. Full court, lounge, music, TVs, the whole setup. And because you're hearing this from me, get half off your first private basketball suite rental. Just use code HALFOFFHOOPS. Trust me, you're going to love this place.
Jewelry Graham. Hi, I'm Brian, your friend and jeweler at Shane Company. We have just the right gift for your sweetheart this Valentine's Day. Any style, any budget. Like heart-shaped necklaces, birthstones, or hand-matched diamond studs. Getting engaged? Create a dream ring and choose from natural and lab-grown diamonds in all shapes and sizes. Come see us in store or at shaneco.com because a friend wants you to win Valentine's Day. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
You know what it takes to win: the preparation, the game plan, the refusal to quit when things get hard. You bring that same mentality to your business every single day. But even the best teams need fans in the seats. At Denver Sports, we put your business in front of Denver's most passionate, loyal audience, on air, online, and on the big screen. You've got the drive, we've got the reach. Visit us online at DenverSports.com. Let's build your roster.
Stay up to date on the Broncos with our 9 News Broncos insider Mike Kliss, presented by Fitness Gallery. Hear the latest from every practice and every game every single week during football season. Denver Sports 104.3. The Fan. It's Dover and Cecil on Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan.
They say the NFL never sleeps, Cecil Lammy. And I find that to be true because we are not even to Super Bowl Sunday for Super Bowl 60. And we have not just first round, but multi-round mock drafts being cranked out across the internet.
Right.
From everyone, from the usual heavy hitters to the NFL mock draft database account holders, if that makes sense. And there's some names for the Denver Broncos that are starting to circulate and populate already that I think are worth mentioning and just putting out in the radar, because over this long evaluation process in the offseason, it feels like the tide, like it always does, is going to turn a million different directions. There's going to be guys that are early front runners that fade. There's going to be guys in the draft speculation that come out of nowhere, the month or a couple weeks before the draft. Matt Miller did a 2-round mock draft for the entire NFL.
Matt Miller from ESPN. I showed him around his first Senior Bowl years and years ago. Dear friend of mine, and does a lot of great work.
Big fan of Matt Miller myself. He has the Broncos in a 2-round mock draft, picking 30th overall, Anthony Hill Jr., the linebacker out of Texas.
Okay.
How familiar are you with Anthony Hill Jr.?
I haven't completed my linebacker grades yet, but obviously he's a first-round pick, and he's one of those guys. I prefer Jacob Rodriguez in the second round, but you're going to get playmaking ability and heat-seeking missile is how I describe his game.
And I kind of assumed that everything in terms of the draft prep process for a lot of people that aren't Matt Miller from ESPN is in its early or beginning stages. So my question was really going to be, where are you at conceptually with the Broncos prioritizing the linebacker position in the first round of this NFL draft, factoring in the needs and the holes across the roster that we're already seeing?
It's wrong. I mean, it's just wrong.
Okay.
It's wrong. I think this offseason should be a fantasy football draft. If it's not running back, wide receiver, or tight end, in the first round, it doesn't really make a lot of sense. So even though Matt's my homeboy, I just don't. I think Bucky Brooks had a safety going to the Broncos in his first round mock draft. Just come on.
No,
what are we doing?
We can't go cornerback and safety in the first round in back-to-back
What are you
drafts
doing,
with
Hans?
this offense.
What are you doing, Hans? Now, at least this ILB class is outstanding, so I kind of get what Matt is doing.
And it is a need, in
as
theory.
a creator of mock drafts, just one a year, one at DenverSports.com, and I like being as accurate as possible. And basically, not only is it my own grades, but it's what teams are telling me they're going to do. So if you want the most accurate mock draft over the last few years, that's going to be found at DenverSports.com. For me, I understand what Matt's doing right now. It's an exercise in okay, here's all the first-round graded players. Where can I fit them in? And once you get to 30, once you get to about 15, because that's when your first-round players are dried up usually.
Yeah, it starts to get questionable.
Yeah, I see what Matt is trying to do. We got a lot of first-round linebackers, which is very, very odd. Matt's trying to fit one in.
That was
with
the case
Broncos.
these past couple. Was it last year or 2 years ago with the defensive tackle? Right?
Yes,
Interior defensive line to have 20 guys graded as legitimate starters or first-round talent. All right, so let's say the Broncos follow Matt Miller's sage advice at 30 and pick Anthony Hill Jr., the linebacker out of Texas. Now, as we head to the second round, and the Broncos are on the clock.
Please tell me it's an offensive player.
At 62.
Okay.
What would you
62.
say is the biggest point of emphasis or position of need for the Broncos, who just took a linebacker in the first round with what we see with this roster right now?
And knowing this class and where your heavy hitters are, you've got running back talent in the first 3 rounds. After that, it dries up, so this had better be a running back.
It is an offensive player.
Okay,
Cecil.
thank God.
So you're going to be happy in that regard. But this is a good news, bad news kind of thing, because it's not a running back. It is a wide receiver. Matt Miller, with the 62nd overall pick, has the Broncos selecting Chris Bell, wide receiver, out of Louisville.
Okay.
How would you feel about a wide receiver selection in the second round and pairing that with a 1-2 punch of inside linebacker and wide receiver to kick off the 2026 NFL draft?
I would actually prefer something different, like a Denzel Boston in the first and then Jacob Rodriguez from Texas Tech, the linebacker. So if you're going to do that, I'd flip it.
Okay.
I'd go wide receiver first to get that better talent and then go linebacker because the talent's going to be there.
So you see the vision positionally, but you want to color it maybe a little differently.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people are going to rank these wide receivers differently, the top 5. Denzel Boston usually ends up as 5 for a lot of people out there, and there's debate about the others. For me, I see the drop-off at linebacker to be something not as great as the drop-off of wide receiver. From your first-round group of wide receivers to your second-round group of wide receivers, it doesn't sound like a big deal. Actually, with the wide receiver group, I think there is more of a drop-off. With linebackers, Jacob Rodriguez can play. He can make plays. He's going to be a second-round pick, and you can get a starting caliber inside linebacker from day one in the second round. So for me, I'd rather take a chance and go out there and get that big-name wide receiver, top-level wide receiver on day one, and then on day two, that's when you can look at linebacker because the drop-off isn't as great.
If wide receiver is going to be a position of need and a target in the early rounds for the Denver Broncos, then Cecil, and you talked about, hey, instead of going Anthony Hill Jr. from Texas at 30 and then getting Chris Bell from Louisville at 62, maybe flip it, take a wide receiver in the first round, and you can take Rodriguez in the second round as a capable inside linebacker. Well, Lance Zierlein did his own mock draft.
Who is the greatest.
Right. We're just talking first round here. He had the Broncos picking wide receiver KC Concepcion from Texas A&M, 30th overall. Would that move excite you or intrigue you more than Matt Miller's Anthony Hill Jr. selection out of Texas?
1,000%. You're getting a playmaker. You're getting a run-after-catch specialist, and that's something that the Broncos need. They need, because Bo Nix's favorite target is the open guy. Sorry, Evan Ingram, you ain't getting open, because if you're open, Bo Nix is going to find you. It's not a system thing. It's not a Bo thing. It's a you thing. In football and life, it's always you. It's always you. So for me, I go get a playmaker for Bo that can turn short passes into long gains, that has field flipping ability, and a guy that has the ability to score a touchdown anytime he touches the ball. So I like the idea of this being a fantasy football draft and the Broncos getting offensive talent early in this draft.
Yeah, and you need it at multiple spots. So in theory, you have a few different dartboards that you can throw at, and it's just a matter of how you want to prioritize which darts to throw where. As George Payton loves arrows in the quiver, darts for the board, like he talks about all the time. It's going to be interesting to see how he allocates those resources from free agency, which will happen first, and then we get to these point with the mock drafts. And if they don't go out and get wide receiver help in free agency, or, an Alec Pierce type of thing like we talked about with Bo's board, and you've got a playmaking wide receiver that's there, and the way the board shakes out, you feel confident in being able to do it, I think that they should. Because ultimately, if the pick hits, it makes it easier to rationalize if there were other players on the board that you could have gotten better. It's only when it doesn't work that we start to look back and go, or it's at a position that maybe wasn't as big of a need, like the Jahdae Barron thing with what we got out of the running back room when you had Omarion Hampton and others still on the board. So plenty of mock drafts will be rolled out over the course of the next 2.5 months or so before we get to the real NFL draft, and we will chronicle how things change and how the dauber turns for the Broncos over the course of that time. We talked to our 9 News Broncos insider Mike Kliss earlier, and he gave us a little bit of an inkling about what may be in store for Sean Payton and Davis Webb when it comes to who's calling the plays in Bo Nix's helmet in 2026. You'll hear what he said coming up next.
Should Sean Payton be on a short leash as a play caller next season?
I'll give Sean and this offense 6 games next year to show that they have indeed made the jump. And by that point, if you're not averaging 25, 26 points per game offensively, sure, make the switch, hand it over.
Denver Sports 104.3. The Fan.
Hey, what's up, guys? It's Zach By here. For 5280 Exteriors, Colorado homes face more risk than ever from intense weather, including wildfire exposure. 5280 Exteriors prioritizes fire-resistant, non-combustible, low-maintenance exterior upgrades with reliable quality installations. Protect your home with James Hardy siding, TimberTech decking, and Pella Impervia fiberglass windows, all designed to stand up to heat, weather, and time. They also offer 60 months no-interest financing. 5280 Exteriors, the altitude of quality.
When it's cold, the last thing you want is your home's heater to quit on you. At 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning, our team of comfort specialists take the frustration out of the equation. From simple repairs to more complex fixes, we'll get you warm and comfortable quickly. Just call 855-1-HOUR or visit onehourair.com. Don't forget, we're
always on time, or you don't pay in time. Always on time, or you don't pay in time.
independently owned and operated, licensed in their respective state or county.
Hey, Mom. It's me. Oh my gosh, you'll never believe what I just opened for Valentine's Day. A sapphire ring from Hellsberg. Just like the one I lost years ago. Remember how excited I was when you gave it to me? I cannot believe you remembered that story. I guess you were right. I really found the one.
This Valentine's Day, create a moment that means something with up to 40% off gifts at Helzberg. Shop in store or at Helzberg.com.
Hey, it's Mike Evans. Restore your bald spot, reverse your receding hairline, or add volume to thinning hair with the same simple one-day treatment I receive from Dr. Tanya Pauls of Advanced Hair. Your own natural hair begins regrowing the very next day, and your new hair is guaranteed to grow. Advanced Hair has changed tens of thousands of lives, including mine. For your free consultation, $250 off and 250 free hair grafts, call 720-459-HAIR, AdvancedHair.com.
Discover incredible savings at the Mountain High Appliance Clearance Center in Denver. I'm Brad Barnett, president of Mountain High Appliance. Our clearance center offers a huge selection of ranges, refrigerators, laundry, and more. Save up to 60% on open box, scratch and dent, display models, and overstocked appliances from Bosch, Thermador, KitchenAid, and many more. When you're looking for great deals on appliances, our clearance center is your go-to destination for the best prices and selection.
Mountain High Appliance, your favorite appliance store.
Thank you.
Are you worrying about those upcoming credit card bills after the holidays? If you're a homeowner, there's no better time than now to call American Financing and wipe out that debt, eliminate the stress, and set yourself up for a strong 2026. The Fed dropped rates for the 4th time in December. American Financing can help you access that equity in your home at an interest rate in the low 5s. You heard that right, in the low 5s. That is a much lower rate than the average 20% or more credit card rate. American Financing is saving their customers an average of $800 a month. That's like a $10,000 raise to start the new year. There are no upfront fees and no obligation to see how much you can save. And they are closing some in as fast as 10 days and even delaying 2 mortgage payments. American Financing, Colorado's home for home loans. Call them today at 303-695-7000. That's 303-695-7000 or online at americanfinancing.net. NMLS 182334, NMLSconsumeraccess.org. APR for rates in the 5 start at 6.196% for well-qualified buyers. Call 303-695-7000 for details about credit costs and terms.
1877 Cards for Kids. KARS Cards for Kids.
Ready to get rid of that old car? Donate it to Cars for Kids. Call 1-877-CARS for Kids to reach a friendly live agent. Donation's super easy, and your car can be picked up as soon as tomorrow. Call us now, 1-877-CARS for Kids.
1-877-CARS for Kids. Donate your car today.
Did you know you can donate real estate too?
KKFN and KKFN HD1 Longmont, Denver. You're listening to Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan.
Denver Sports Snapshot.
Tonight on 104.3 HD3, DU Women's Basketball faces South Dakota starting at 5:30. Tomorrow on 104.3 HD3, DU Hockey skates with Colorado College with pregame starting at 6:30.
104.3 The Fan. We are Denver Sports.
Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan.
Hanging out with us behind the glass, hanging out with you, the tribe. Shout out to all of you out there on the RamosLaw.com text line and on our YouTube chat at Denver Sports 104.3 on YouTube. We talked to our 9 News Broncos insider Mike Kliss earlier, Cecil, and I thought he had something interesting to say in regards to Davis Webb's promotion to offensive coordinator and what that might mean for the future of the play calling here in Denver. That's obviously been Sean Payton's baby, his bread and butter over his multi-decade NFL career. But we've had the conversation nationally in the media. There's been a conversation, and Sean Payton himself has stepped up to the podium in kind of an introspective way, talking about what goes into the mentality of a play caller and how he's having to kind of heat check and evaluate himself and make sure that he's not losing or slipping that edge a little bit.
Right.
And causing the Broncos offense to be a little bit stagnant. Here's what Kliss had to say on Payton potentially giving Webb the play calling duties.
I think there's a good chance of it that Davis Webb, that Sean maybe at some point would announce this offseason. I'm not sure when, that Davis Webb is going to call the plays. I'm guessing they're still talking about that. But I also think the key is, if Sean Payton does go with Davis Webb as a play caller, how long before Sean Payton takes it back? I mean, is it 2 3-and-outs in a row? Is it 2 losses in a row?
Right.
The question is sticking with them when things aren't going well, as happened this past year. But the biggest hint to me in looking, with Davis Webb, there are a couple hints. One was what you just mentioned, Richie, that he drew a lot of interest, and to entice him to stay, you had to offer him something. Play calling would definitely be an enticement. But the other thing was that Sean kind of admitted that he's getting old at the play calling. As he gets old, he needs to be quicker. He even admitted that before the Buffalo playoff game. And so that tells you that he's thinking about it. So we'll see what happens here. But again, I wouldn't be surprised Davis Webb is calling plays. I also will have a play calling watch as the season goes on.
Interesting there. A couple of things that I want to dissect, starting with the concept and the timeline of handing the playmaking or the play calling off in general, Cecil. Kliss there says that he would expect over the course of this offseason at some point, could be early, could be late, that Davis Webb, in a formal sense, is going to call the plays for the Broncos, meaning right out of the gate. We're running a promo on the air right now of Mike Evans saying, hey, I'm fine. I think that Sean Payton should have 5 or 6 games next season to call the plays, put his offense out there in 2026, and prove that they've taken a step forward from what we saw in 2025. If so, keep things business as usual. If not, turn things over to Davis Webb. Where do you fall on the timeline setting of this between Mike Kliss saying, hey, it's going to happen right from Jump Street, and it's going to be announced formally in the offseason to end all speculation, and there being some length of evaluation period before Sean ultimately gives the reins to his new OC, Davis Webb?
Yeah, I think it's give Davis Webb the job, they're calling the plays, and let him go. Let him go. I don't want this, quick hook. I don't want the hook off the stage to even really be there unless it's an abject disaster, which it won't be. It just won't be. Davis Webb, what an amazing resource that you have, because Sean Payton gets to help you learn how to be a play caller in the NFL. Oh, my God. That's like learning how to play quarterback from Peyton Manning. You know what I mean? It's just an incredible way for this young coach to sharpen his skill on the job training. And yeah, it's on the job and everything's critical. Oh, that's true. But it's not going to be a disaster. And Sean would know as a play caller himself how detrimental it would be to a young coach to be like, you can't do that anymore. Suggestions, maybe even strong suggestions, maybe even some yelling, which Sean's fine with. Everyone should be okay with that. You know what I mean? Get in somebody's kitchen, tell them how to do it right, and fix it. Results-based business. The results with Davis Webb will be great. No need to pull the hook unless it's a disaster, and it won't be.
There's going to be enough variables for this Broncos team to overcome in 2026 once the season gets rolling. They don't need to self-inflict and add any more within themselves, within the organization. If you're going to hand over the play calling to Davis Webb at some point, which again, I think that has to be already a locked-in part of the decision-making, because if not, I don't see why Davis Webb would have stayed here when he had head coaching interest and offensive coordinator interest from multiple teams who were, per reports, ready to give him full control of the offense as an offensive coordinator. Davis Webb doesn't turn up that kind of opportunity when his stock has never been higher as a player or post-playing career in his entire life to say, you know what, I'm going to stick around with Sean Payton and maybe not get some input on offense. So if you're already saying, if you're Sean Payton, I'm going to turn things over to you, do it before the season.
Yes.
Do it the way Kliss laid out.
Yes.
Give him as much runway as possible, because if you hand it over to him in Mike Evans' dream scenario in week 6, that's going to be his first rodeo unless you give him some sampling in the preseason like they just did.
They already did that.
And all he's going to be is 6 weeks behind where he could have been if you just made it from the jump. And this team has such a little margin for error like we saw last season. There's no reason to add more complications or potential tripwires within themselves when they're already going to have to overcome those naturally throughout the course of the season.
And It's the fourth quarter on Dover and Cecil. Is it time for me to get crunchy? We've been doing this for over 3 hours today.
Hell yeah.
I think it's time for me to get crunchy. Anytime I mention hotboxing, Kev always pays attention. So
He did snap his head around real quick.
He did, yes. He does. He happens to, be interested, I guess. I will say this. It's about control, right? Like in life, you have to realize that you can't control everything. And I say this merely because I'm thinking about Sean Payton. I'm thinking of him as an older man myself. Sean's 10 years older than me, but still, I have to know that there are things beyond my control, but I want to win in my day-to-day life. I want to win. I want to win with my family. I want to win with my career, all these sorts of things. Sean Payton wants to win. He has to realize, and I believe he does, because he has the benefit of wisdom. When you get older or you get all these gray hairs, that's when your wisdom comes through. I think he's going to be wise enough to understand that he's going to have to relegate control. He's going to have to give up the amount of control that he has to while still being the man, still being Sean Payton, still calling the shots, still being the head coach, and let Davis Webb run this thing. That's all that's not necessarily fair because football's not fair, but that's the best strategy. If Sean does this cluster, I'll reference Star Wars because you may get it because Dover has no idea. But when Princess Leia says you're going to take all those star systems and grip them, the more you grip those star systems, the more slip through your fingers. The more Sean Payton grips on this offense, and it's my offense, it's my play calling, the more it's going to slip away. You trust Davis Webb. Let Davis Webb call these plays. You'll be better off for it.
I couldn't agree more. You're only going to have Davis Webb maybe for one more season or so. Because if he gets a full season as a play caller or even a partial season as a play caller under his belt in 2026, factoring in the momentum and the boy wonder, offensive wonderkind momentum that he had in this past offseason, his foot's going to be out the door sooner rather than later. So for you to promote him to OC, give him more money, and then not maximize what you can get from that from a play calling perspective, I think is actually just a self-inflicted wound, and it's not maximizing your resources as best you can for a team that was, even with things factoring against them, 60 minutes away from a Super Bowl with a backup quarterback. And if Sean Payton really does want to live up to the mantra that he put out there into the ether that said, this is the seventh team I've ever coached that I think can win a Super Bowl, and I'm going to have a top 4 or 5 quarterback in the next handful of years, and he still wants to be the first coach to win a Super Bowl as head coach with 2 different franchises, Davis Webb has a better chance to help him do that as a play caller than in some kind of mismatched, ambiguous
role. Let's also do this, and this deserves we could have done 4 hours on this because it's fascinating. Here's the thing. It's legacy. Every decision Sean Payton makes from the moment he drafted Bo Nix was about his legacy. How will Sean Payton be remembered? If you don't give Davis Webb the power or you take it away from him, and you don't win a Super Bowl, you're going to be remembered as the old fuddy-duddy. Yeah, he got one in New Orleans, whatever. That was mainly Drew Brees, but whatever, Sean, whatever. And then you couldn't let it go. You couldn't let it go. If you give Davis Webb the power, it will be rewarded to you with a Super Bowl championship. And that's how Sean Payton will be remembered. Everything, and when you get to this point, Richie, you're a couple decades behind me, but when you get to this point, everything's about legacy. How will you be remembered? I think that's got to be at the forefront of Sean Payton's mind.
I love that. No, I love that. And I think if Kliss's scenario pans out, I think we may know somewhat, potentially sooner rather than later, how things are going to go and what decision Sean is going to make in regards to his legacy. All right, coming up next, the NBA trade deadline has come and gone, and we did get an additional Denver Nuggets move. We will fill you in on both organizational moves for Denver coming up next.
The champ! Are you ready? Do you consider yourself a super fan? Well, now's your chance to prove it. It's Denver Sports 1043 The Fan Super Fan Send-Off, presented by 303 Law 4040, sending you to Las Vegas for the biggest pro wrestling event in the world. A pair of 2-night event tickets, airfare, and hotel all included, plus a $500 Visa card. So get in the ring and enter now at DenverSports.com/superfan. That's DenverSports.com/superfan.
I lost 60 pounds with SodaWeightLoss.com, and I love talking about it. I love telling everyone because you can do it too. I understand the weight loss journey, and being a pseudo athlete from back in the day. When you get overweight, you're like, oh my God, really? Really? I'm at this point in my life when I was having the weight problems, the joint issues, the damn gout, everything that I was battling because I was overweight and I wasn't eating the right way. SodaWeightLoss.com. They taught me how to eat, what to eat, and when to eat. This is real food, a real nutritionist, real results. Point blank, period. Done. There's no mystery chemicals. There's no injections. First off, I'm deathly afraid of needles. But secondly, why do I want to do it that way when I can do it the right way? No chemicals, no injections, no pill popping, none of that stuff. This is real results, real weight loss, and it's there for you as well. SodaWeightLoss.com. Call them up, 1-866-800-SODA. That's 1-866-800-SODA. And join Soda for a short time to have results that last a lifetime. If you want results that you can see and feel with the nutritionist, you can text anytime. Go to SodaWeightLoss.com. That's SOTA, weightloss.com. Soda Weight Loss is state of the art.
My perfect day has sand, salt water, and friends. But my moderate to severe plaque psoriasis can take me out of the moment. Now I'm all in with clearer skin thanks to Skyrizi. Risankizumab Riza, a prescription-only 150 milligram injection for adults who are candidates for systemic or phototherapy. With Skyrizi, most people saw 90% clearer skin, and many were even 100% plaque-free at 4 months. Skyrizi is just 4 doses a year after 2 starter doses.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions, increased infections, or lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, get checked for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor about any flu-like symptoms or vaccines.
Thanks to Skyrizi, there's nothing on my skin, and that means everything. Ask your doctor about Skyrizi, the #1 dermatologist-prescribed biologic in psoriasis. Visit Skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKYRIZI to learn more.
With Progressive's Name Your Price tool, you can choose the best coverage option for you. Because you know you. Like, you know that hiking isn't for you. Sure, it sounds nice to be in nature while exercising, but that's what a gym and houseplants are for. I mean, you don't even like walking upstairs. So why would you walk up a hill for miles? To what, end up high in the air? Come on, you know you're scared of heights. Only you know you. So get coverage options within your budget with Progressive's Name Your Price tool. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
Not sure how to tackle your taxes? Are you sweating the small print? You may be experiencing FOMO, the fear of messing up. The answer? Using TurboTax on Intuit Credit Karma. They help you get your biggest refund, and then we help you do more with it, with a personalized plan designed to help you hit your money goals. It's time to take your taxes to the max. Start filing today in the Credit Karma app.
Tune in Tuesday afternoons for Injury Insights with Zach By and Dr. Joseph Ramos to hear the latest injury news on your local teams and around the world of sports. Ramos Law. What makes us different makes us better.
One iced coffee?
$1, please.
For real? No way. One iced coffee?
$1, please.
For real? No way. What a deal.
Your new morning groove. Iced coffee from McDonald's, any size for just $1 until 11 a.m. Price and participation may vary. Cannot be combined with any other offer. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Hi, I'm Terrell Davis, two-time world champion and Pro Football Hall of Famer. There is nothing more important than your health.
This February, save up to 50% off on select premium equipment. Visit one of Fitness Gallery's 7 convenient locations from Colorado Springs to Fort Collins.
On the Broncos and the latest news from around the league with our NFL insider James Palmer, exclusively on Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan. Mondays on The Rundown with Richie Carney, Tuesday afternoons on The Drive, and Friday mornings on Stokely and Evans with Mark Schlereth, all season long. Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan, DenverSports.com, and the Denver Sports app. Denver Sports 104.3
They can still remember exactly what color chaps she was wearing in that music video and those platinum dreads. So who's the joke really on? Team Xtina for life. All right.
Thank you.
Yes, Kev, thank you. Please, any 2000s level hot pop star nostalgia that you want to throw in here on the back end of the show.
Give me some Jessica Simpson. Yes, done. There for it.
The Denver Nuggets, now that the trade deadline has come and gone in the NBA, they made a couple of moves, Cecil, neither of which I think...
Mix in Xtina. Neither of them are a knockout move.
Yes, exactly.
See?
Exactly. There was no genie in a bottle that they were going to unlock.
Okay. What else? What else? You've impressed me so far.
Yeah,
what
gosh,
else?
That was the one right off the top. I'm gonna have to let it marinate for a second.
But the Denver Nuggets are beautiful.
There we go. See, I like where we're going with
this. Xtina and Joker, make it a thing.
The collaboration you didn't know you needed.
Mm-hmm.
They made a couple of moves, Cecil, and I think they pretty transparently connected with one another. Their first move was to trade Nuggets legend Tyson Hunter to the Brooklyn Nets in exchange for a 2032 second-round pick. Oh, I'm sorry, they sent a 2032 second-round pick with Tyson in exchange for the less favorable of the LA Clippers or Atlanta Hawks second-round pick in 2026 per Shams Charania. Now, that move does a couple of things. One, it drops the Nuggets below the luxury tax line, that second apron that they desperately want to avoid as an organization. It also opens up another roster spot and gives them additional selection in the draft this spring. Well, one of those roster spots that they have available, because they had one before, now they have an extra one, is going to convert swingman Spencer Jones from his two-way contract into a standard deal.
Nice.
That's been reported by Chris Haynes and others. So Spencer Jones, who's been on a two-way contract up to this point in the season, using his final game allowed on that contract against the New York Knicks, where he unfortunately suffered a concussion after colliding with Karl Anthony Towns. He is going to get a roster spot on this Nuggets 15-man roster heading into the backstretch of the season, but it will also leave them with a couple of other open spots and about $1.8 million in space to play with.
Okay.
Well, the vet minimum is right around $900,000. It's like $884,000 and change. So in theory, the Nuggets can convert Spencer Jones onto a full-time contract and still have, with their mid-level exception and a couple of vet minimum opportunities, spots to add before this team hits the postseason. They didn't do anything sexy. There was no Payton Watson blockbuster deal. There was no massive, move to help kind of bring in another starter key playmaker onto this moving train. But Cecil, they didn't really need to do that, in your opinion, did they?
No. The only thing the Denver Nuggets need to do to compete and contend and be right there for an NBA Finals appearance is stay healthy. And that's the great luxury of what we have now in Denver sports. If we look at the problems, right? The problems. What were the problems for the Broncos on their championship run? Well, the main problem was Bo Nix was out.
Yeah.
Another one was they couldn't run the ball. But with the Colorado Avalanche, we can say, what are their problems making a Stanley Cup run? They got to fix the power play, and they've got to be way more consistent. And they also need to get healthy. Got the taser back. Need to get Gabe Landeskog back. Hopefully he stays healthy through the Olympics. What is that with the Denver Nuggets? Don't they have the least amount of issues? The Broncos had a couple of issues, right? The Avs have a couple of issues, right? The Nuggets have one. Just get healthy. If you want to make up a second one, I would say Cam Johnson, get better chemistry, because you only started to show that you were coming around with the chemistry with this team. He was trying to fit in instead of just fitting in. And then before his injury, it looked like that was coming around. Like, hey, you're going to get the best version of Cam Johnson. I totally understand why the front office made the move to move on from MPJ, and I'm very glad they did. I'm happy for MPJ. I'm happy that Cam Johnson is here. But you're making up stuff if you got to think of, like, what are the reasons the Denver Nuggets, what could they miss out on? They just got to stay healthy. Easy. Done. I do sports talk radio. Stay healthy. And you are pushing for the NBA Finals. And not to say that I'll guarantee this, like Joe Namath, I want to kiss you.
Thanks, Joe.
So uncomfortable.
It's
Sorry, Susie.
Unbelievable.
Sorry, Susie Goldberg. That was so uncomfortable. I would say this. I can guarantee they'll be in the Western Conference Final if they just stay healthy. That's it. That's it. Now, can I guarantee they'll beat OKC? No. But they'll take OKC to 7. And 7-game Western Conference Final. Let's flip and go.
Yep. And
how do they get there? Stay healthy.
That's assuming that they stay on the right side of the bracket and don't have to play OKC in the second round like
Sure,
they did
right,
last year.
right.
But I get what you're saying.
They're going to be the number 2 seed.
Ultimately, Cecil, I agree with the assertion. I said it last week, and I'll say it again. The Nuggets have performed admirably in the face of all these injuries. I think they're the most snake-bitten contender in the NBA this year when you're talking about a health perspective. But if there was one word that I would use to describe the mentality, the aura around this Nuggets squad in 2025-2026, which also happens to be a Christina Aguilera song, they're fighters. They're fighters. They battled OKC, the eventual champion, and with the eventual MVP in SGA, to 7 games with an absolute mash unit of a playoff rotation. Then they came into this season, guns a-blazing. Ben Tenzer and Jonathan Wallace kick those doors down, make all those moves, ship MPJ out for Cam Johnson, and open up all that financial flexibility to bring in the players that they did. And when fully healthy and at full strength, they look like they can beat anybody, including the Thunder, as dominant as they look to start the season. They have to be healthy in order to do that.
Yes.
And if it means you've got to concede, you got to lose some battles to prepare for the war,
yes,
then do that.
All I want to know, Nuggets fans out there, if you're a lady, what's a girl want?
Just a fool. All right.
Look at all the hits.
We will. The Broncos are close, but what holes need to be filled and what improvements are most pressing heading into this 2026 offseason within the roster? We have a list, and we'll tell you today's position group coming up next.
Do the Broncos need to double down on the tight end position again this offseason?
I'm not interested in garage projects. I'm not interested in blocking tight ends. This team needs playmakers. This team needs weapons. And because of that, you're going to need to get 2. You're going to need to get a free agent, and you're going to need to have a rookie.
Denver Sports 104.3. The Fan.
Men, the new year is here, and if you're like many of us, you're ready to improve your health. But if you're feeling low energy, not sleeping well, or not seeing results in the gym, keeping that resolution can be tough. This is Jeff for the Rocky Mountain Men's Clinic, and if those symptoms sound familiar, we can likely help. They often point to low testosterone, and treating low T is what we do. But this year, we're also helping men go further with 4 targeted body composition plans featuring growth hormone peptides, NAD+, GLP-1s, PDA, and more, designed to boost energy, support metabolism, enhance recovery, and accelerate fat loss. With our low T treatments combined with our body composition programs, most men notice real improvements. More energy, better focus, improved sleep, stronger workouts, and often a renewed sex drive as well. So call us. Your initial visit is just $99 and includes blood work and a medical consult. And if you start on treatment the same day, your visit is free. Call 720-440-7900 or visit RockyMountainMen'sClinic.com.
Featured therapies are compounded and have not been evaluated nor approved by the FDA. Provider prescription required. See website for details.
details.
Hey guys, Cecil Lammy here. You probably noticed your heat kicking on way more than it should. I get it. It's frustrating. I live in Roxborough. That wind blows all the time. But the real culprit might surprise you. When the insulation in your window fails, all that warm air you're paying for slips right out and the cold sneaks right in. That's why you need my friends, WindowNation.com. It's WindowNation.com. They got their buy 4 windows, get 4 free sale happening now. Also ask them how you could snag a pair of Icon Pass 2-day sessions. Stop letting your windows drain your comfort and your wallet. Schedule your quote today at WindowNation.com.
Dan Jacobs with 303 Law 4040 and Jacobs Law with another cool story to share. James called 303 Law 4040, and he's like a lot of our clients, not looking to get rich, but he just didn't want to get stuck with a bunch of medical bills. So we met with James like we do all of our 303 Law 4040 clients in person, and it's a good thing we did because we noticed James did not look so good. We sent him to the hospital to get checked out, and they did wind up admitting him. In the end, we got him feeling better and $125,000. He was over the moon. He came into the office to pick up his check and rang that victory bell. And the really cool part is James surprised us with a check of his own, a donation so we could keep the best free meal in Denver coming each and every first and third Thursday. If you've been injured, you may be like James, not looking to get rich, but not sure what to do. That's why we're here to help. Just give us a call at 303 Law 4040. Go ahead, save that number in your phone. You never know when you're going to need it. That's 303 Law 4040.
This Valentine's, I want to make it really special. Kick it up a notch and tell her exactly how much I love her.
At Williams Jewelers, we've created our one-stop Valentine's package that makes telling your true love exactly how you feel. I'm Steve Williams.
And I'm Shayna Williams. You see, we're one of Colorado's largest fine jewelers with the designer brands she knows and loves, like Tacori and Hearts on Fire.
Thousands of quality, iconic, and yes, affordable pieces you won't find in any other store, starting at under $300.
And now through Valentine's Day, with every purchase of $250 or more, you'll get a fresh cut red rose and a bottle of wine as our gift.
Guys, it's one-stop shopping and you're done.
This year, this Valentine's, more than ever, Williams Jewelers of Inglewood.
On the corner of Bellevue and Broadway, with plenty of free parking.
We're Denver's first family of fine jewelers.
And your one-stop Valentine's store.
Williams Jewelers, we can make diamonds a part of your life.
Williams Jewelers, the official jeweler of the Colorado Avalanche.
Hey guys, your boy Mark Schlereth here. Denver is Truck Month only at Bozarth Chevrolet and Celebration Chevrolet, where every new and pre-owned truck comes with a spray-in bed liner included. That's right, every new truck, every bed protected. Plus, take advantage of deeply incentivized programs on all the new and pre-owned trucks, including the new Silverado and Colorado, with offers designed for their customers to take advantage of. Work harder, play harder, drive smarter. Only at Bozarth Chevrolet and Celebration Chevrolet, your trusted partner in automotive.
At Belco Credit Union, we want to make your dream renovation a reality. Maybe that means a modern kitchen upgrade or a luxurious new bathroom. With Belco's Home Equity Choice line, you can get easy access to funds with the freedom and convenience of a home equity line of credit, plus the security and stability of a home equity loan. Plus, Belco is also offering low rates for qualified borrowers. Learn more at belco.org/choiceline. Belco is an equal opportunity housing lender. Belco, banking for everyone.
Stoke here from my friends at Roller Auction, leader in Colorado auction for over 40 years, and they got one of my favorite auctions that's open for bidding right now that's ending on February 11th at 9 o'clock. Over 290 items in this, a government fleet vehicle and equipment auction. Always one of my favorites. It's got SUVs, sedans, pickup, utility trucks, dump trucks, police vehicles, trailers, various municipality equipment, and so much more. Open for bidding right now. Go see it all. Get yourself a great deal at rollerauction.com.
Denver counts on Fix It 24/7 for heating and plumbing with legendary service. Proud partner of the Denver Broncos and proud to serve the community. Book now at fixmyhome.com.
Denver Sports Snapshot.
Tonight on 104.3 HD3, DU Women's Basketball faces South Dakota starting at 5:30. Tomorrow on 104.3 HD3, DU Hockey skates with Colorado College with pregame starting at 6:30.
104.3 The Fan. We are Denver Sports.
You're listening to Dover and Cecil on Denver Sports 104.3.
of the, specific focus with Bo's board, because there are other positions of need beyond just maybe what Bo might want. You got the defensive side of the ball, you have draft versus free agency, all of those things. But Cecil, in this case, I actually kind of feel like they're aligned. And we've talked a little bit about it with Bo's board, who the subject of that, Kevin, I won't make you play it again, was Alec Pierce, the wide receiver for the Indianapolis Colts, who's potentially up for free agency if he doesn't get franchise tagged. And we debated, hey, is it worth it? Price tags, what other options in free agency in the draft? But there is an underlying question with the wide receiver room that I think is going to maintain regardless of the names that you want to plug and play. How much do you trust the Denver Broncos wide receivers as a room for Bo Nix going into 2026?
Well, apparently with Kerry Colbert not teaching him how to catch, that's something Sean Payton brought up. Thumbs together, and it's actually your nipple line. It's your chest. If it's below your chest, you put your pinkies together. If it's above your chest, you put your thumbs together. Who am I to tell Sean Payton how to catch? But either way, how do I trust him? Well, one, I don't. It's a production-based business. I want guys that can produce. Right now, that's Cortland Sutton and Marvin Mims. Pat Bryant's got to stay healthy and worried about those concussions, and Troy Franklin's got to stay healthy, and Troy Franklin's got to be better. I don't know if he can be. I don't know if we've – I think in football and life we need to ask the question, have we seen the best of blank, right? It's kind of reverse of the Dennis Miller, like you may never be more blank than you are right now. Money, whatever, relationships, whatever. So have we seen the best of Marvin Mims? No, because they don't use him. That's not on Marvin. Marvin's got the talent, but they don't use him enough.
Okay, but couldn't that answer, because of the way you just articulated it, also be yes? Have we seen the best of Marvin Mims? Maybe, not because of...
In their eyes? Yeah. They got bad eyes then.
Well, here's the thing, though, is have we, you and I, Cecil, Broncos country, seen the best of Marvin Mims strictly because Sean Payton hasn't found a way to utilize him better in this offense, or maybe doesn't want to? So it has nothing to do with Marvin Mims's ceiling, trajectory, runway, ability, etc. But have we seen the best of Marvin Mims just because he doesn't seem to fit the way that we think he should in Sean's offense?
Right. And that's the thing of like, okay, is Sean just like, that's not a fit. He's not a tree, so whatever. He's a little guy. He did it with Brandon Cooks. And I know maybe Brandon Cooks isn't. Sean Payton's not a favorite of Brandon Cooks. That's just what I've heard, so whatever. There's plenty of even longtime Saints that are like, yeah, I played for Sean. I produced with Sean. Not really a fan of Sean because he's hard on you, right? I look at this and I go, I don't care if Marvin Mims is 6'5" or 5'11" or 5'5". He makes plays. Use guys that make plays. So have we seen the best of Marvin Mims? My stick by my story, it's no.
I hope not.
No, because there's so much more there if they'd only use him. Now, have we seen the best Pat Bryant? That's ridiculous. Of course not. He's a rookie. Have we seen the best of Troy Franklin? That might be closer because everyone has a ceiling, right? In football and in life, everyone has a ceiling. You want to butt up against that ceiling. You want to push through that ceiling if you can, but everyone, you want to get there, right? You want to get to your max potential in football and in life. Is Troy Franklin already almost there? I think he's closer to his ceiling than Marvin is. And Pat Bryant is a rookie, so like it's ridiculous to suggest that.
A lot of runway left.
Right. How much runway with Troy Franklin? It doesn't seem like a lot.
A couple years less at a minimum.
I mean, he's kind of one-dimensional in what he's the speed guy. Marvin's running routes. Troy's not running routes. You know, Troy's got drop problems. Troy's now got health problems. Have we seen the best of Troy Franklin? I'm not saying 100% yes, but I think he might be closer to that ceiling than these other guys we're talking about.
I don't necessarily disagree, but I think if I'm talking about confidence and trust level in this wide receiver room right now, truthfully, it's not that high because I don't think we had a bona fide number 2 receiver emerge on a consistent basis over the course of the season. And there were people who are like, they don't have to. It'll be a wide receiver 2 by committee. And you've said, and I think you're right on it, that a lot of times Bo Nix's favorite target is the open one, right? And so that doesn't mean force-feeding situational targets or things here or there. I will say I did think it was weird that Troy Franklin out-targeted Cortland Sutton for the first half or so of the season. He was getting like JSN level attention from Bo Nix at like 8-9 targets a game. But even with the things that we felt confident in or were relying upon going into this season, those took a step backward as well. Look at the drop rates for this wide receiver room, including Courtland Sutton, who has done, I think, as good a job as anyone many could have asked to continually develop rapport and mold around a revolving door at quarterback throughout his handful of years here in Denver and be their consistent number one target the majority of the time. And I thought he was also big on third down and critical gotta-have-it situations. It kind of felt like, he might not be there in the first quarter or even in the first half. It might feel like it's hit or miss, but when it's 3rd and 7 on a gotta-have-it scoring drive, there's Courtland Sutton with a 9-yard gain. I just felt like we didn't get as much of that as I thought we would. So my trust level in the wide receiver room, unfortunately, isn't all that high. And I think that if you're not going to prioritize adding to it in a significant way in the free agency, in the draft, whether it's Alec Pierce or you draft, some of the names we've talked about earlier in the show, there's got to be big steps taken by more than just one guy to offset that. Because again, everything with this Broncos team is now viewed through the lens of the confetti test.
Right.
What do they need to do to make sure that they don't stumble on the doorstep? I know Bo Nix got hurt, but just conceptually on the doorstep of a return to the Super Bowl. And they only have a handful of years left to really push their chips in like that before the bill comes due on Bo. And that bill is going to come, and they are, if they have any sense in my mind, going to pay it. So it's about how can you maximize it up to that point. And I think fortifying the wide receiver room or seeing significant growth and development is going to be key to making that happen.
So much to talk about with this team.
There is. I had a question pop into my head earlier during this conversation that I want to ask you about Davis Webb. Because if he's going to be handed over the play calling duties, the way that Mike Kliss told us earlier he feels confident is going to be announced before the end of the season, or before the end of the offseason, and others are speculating a little bit more of a longer runway or timeline, what are the biggest ailments or problems that Davis Webb, the play caller, can potentially fix for this Broncos offense? I'll bounce that off of you, the Tribe, and Cecil Lammey coming up next.
How concerning is the lack of production for the Avalanche on the power play?
If this doesn't change, they will get beat again in the postseason the same way that they did last year because of the same issue that somehow it's gotten worse.
Denver Sports 104.3. The Fan.
Are your investments in the right accounts? What's best, traditional or Roth? Are you receiving all available tax deductions? Are you paying as little in tax as you can? These are all questions you can't afford to get wrong. Hi, I'm Jeff Jr., founder of Trajan Wealth, and in many cases, it's not what you make, but it's what you keep that makes the real difference. Trajan Wealth and Trajan Tax work closely together exclusively. No more guessing about whether you should do a Roth conversion, or if maxing out your 401k is really the best option. Our nationally recognized fiduciary advisors and CPA team work in tandem to make sure your tax strategy works with your investment strategy. We'll even do your tax preparation. One team, one strategy. Isn't it time for a second opinion? Call Trajan today, 720-204-8100. That's 720-204-8100.
Trajan Wealth, an SEC-registered investment advisor. Additional services through Trajan Estate and Trajan Tax. Additional disclosures and accreditation at TrajanWealth.com.
Okay, does this happen to anybody else? You sit down with a juicy QPC, some McNuggets, and those golden fries from McDonald's. Then you take a long sip of your Sprite because you can still hear your mama saying, don't fill up on that drink before you eat your food. But you're grown now, so you do what you want.
Share and share alike with the 20-piece McNuggets from McDonald's for just $6. Limited time only. Price and participation may vary. Cannot be combined with any other offer.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Still haven't filed your taxes? Hey, you're not the only one. A lot of good people fall behind. But here's the thing. The longer you wait, the harder the IRS can hit back. Penalties stack up. Interest piles on. The letters get more aggressive. None of it magically disappears. It's why I always tell folks, call my friends at Advanced Tax Solutions. These are not generalists. They don't dabble in tax problems. They live in this world. Resolving IRS issues is all they do. Maybe you're 1 year behind. Maybe you're 10. Maybe you've got unfiled returns, wage garnishments, bank levies, or you're just losing sleep wait, wondering what the IRS is going to do next. Their licensed tax professionals can step in fast, talk to the IRS for you, stop the stress, and start putting a real plan in place. And listen, waiting never makes it better. Every day you delay is another day the IRS gets to tighten the screws. One quick call to Advanced Tax Solutions, that could be the start of a quick resolution. So take control of your tax situation before the IRS does. Reach out to Advanced Tax Solutions today and breathe again.
Babe, your arms look amazing. Working out is paying off.
Thanks. I just wish my chest matched. No matter what I do, I'm frustrated with my man boobs.
Hey, don't beat yourself up. More than half of men have gynecomastia. It's gland tissue, not laziness. Same thing is happening to my friend Trisha's husband. He went to Dr. Cameron Dastry at Modern Surgical Arts of Denver.
For real? He get good results?
He got great results. Call him, honey.
Call today. They're offering complimentary consultations for the fan listeners. 303-470-3400 or at modernsurgicalarts.com.
1-877 Cards for Kids. KARS Cards for Kids.
Ready to get rid of that old car? Donate it to Cars for Kids. Call 1-877-CARS-FOR-KIDS to reach a friendly live agent. Donation's super easy, and your car can be picked up as soon as tomorrow. Call us now, 1-877-CARS-FOR-KIDS.
1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Did you know you can donate real estate too?
You're listening to Sports Talk Radio at work. So is your competition. So are your customers. Denver sports fans don't half listen. They argue. They text in. They remember stats from 1998. They remember who sponsors their obsession. Audio, video, or online. We've got every angle covered. DenverSports.com. Make your move.
This segment on 104.3 The Fan's powered by Hellsberg. Shop and store are at hellsberg.com.
Stay up to date on the Broncos with our 9 News Broncos insider Mike Kliss. Presented by Fitness Gallery. Hear the latest from every practice and every game every single week during football season. Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan. It's Dover and Cecil on Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan.
Calling all wrestling superfans, we have your chance to go to Las Vegas for the biggest pro wrestling event in the world. It's the Superfan Send-Off presented by 303 Law 4040. Here's what you're going to get. A pair of 2-night tickets to the event, round-trip airfare for 2 from Denver to Las Vegas, 2-night hotel stay, and a $500 Visa gift card. For more information and to enter, head to denversports.com/superfan. I promise you, this is an event you're going to want to be at. Cecil, I asked you going into the break.
Yes, you did. What'd you ask me?
What ailments do we think are plaguing this Broncos offense the most going into the 2026 season? And which ones do we feel confident that Davis Webb, if he is the principal play caller for the Denver Broncos, can cure? When I think of things that held this Broncos offense back or plagued them over the course of a season, inconsistency and lack of commitment to the run game.
Okay.
Right? Production kind of reflected that. Not finding a way to utilize the middle of the field, specifically with Evan Ingram, the high-priced, multi-year free agent that you brought in to be your joker.
Ugh, that was so fun, wasn't it? It was fun to think about. Then it never happened.
When he was tweeting out the Heath Ledger gif,
yeah.
waving his head outside the car.
Dude, everybody on board.
Yeah. What else? What else outside of those two things I just named do you think really plagued this Broncos offense? Is it creativity in the play calling? Is it too many formations?
Too many screen passes, I'll say that.
Too many screen passes, okay.
Yeah.
So maybe improper, creativity or diversity with the play calling?
It's maybe a better exercise. Look at it from the apophatic view. What didn't hurt them? Offensive line didn't hurt them. I get really, offended as I like when people say, well, this offensive line They're a God-blessed top 5 offensive line, okay?
And I also think it's fair to say that, hey, nationally, if you want to, depending on how much stock you put in PFF, like maybe they were a little overrated in certain aspects, but it doesn't mean they were bad by any stretch.
Oh, God, no.
Because they were lauded as, like, unbelievable. So even if they're overrated as unbelievable best offensive line in the league, they can still be a top 10, top 7.
Ask our guy ZB, anytime you say anything bad about RJ Harvey, you'll have somebody come out of the woodwork and be like, yeah, but the offensive line, guys. Offensive line wasn't a problem when J.K. Dobbins was out there getting 5 yards a carry. Why is R.J. Harvey at 3 yards a carry? Like, come on. He's got to be better. If I'm going to bag on Javonte Williams for 3 yards a carry, you know I'm going to do that with R.J. Harvey, especially a running back. Running backs should come in. Phil Lindsay didn't take time to get going. He showed up, and he was a star, right? R.J. Harvey, as a runner, you need to be a little bit better or a lot better. Or they need to just find a complimentary back that is the guy that can run the ball, like J.K. Dobbins.
Okay, so I like how you presented this. Let's go at this 2 ways. I want you to answer this question first this way, and then we'll do it apophatically.
Thank you.
Of the ailments that I just listed, the lack of commitment, consistency, and production in
From
the
the
run
ground
game,
game,
and the inability to find ways to make Evan Ingram a weapon in the middle of the field.
Yeah.
Which of those do you feel more confident in Davis Webb being able to figure out as the chief play caller in 2026?
Ooh. You wait till the end of the damn show to bring this up? That's one of those 4-hour topics. That's one of those like, hey, what's Davis Webb going to fix? What's he going to fix the most? It's probably the ground game. Honestly, it's having the commitment to running the ball, being able to spring R.J. Harvey. Let's say it's just R.J. RJ's the lead, and they draft somebody, whatever. R.J. Harvey, getting him jump-started is much more important to the success of the Denver Broncos going forward than, hey, Evan Ingram got some more catches, guys. It's R.J. Harvey. It's that intent of running the ball. It's how it sets things up for Evan Ingram. It's going to be a lot more wide open. Maybe he'll actually get open if you're running the ball and teams are sucking up towards the line of scrimmage, and then you can have Bo Nix go over the top. So what does Davis Webb fix? What does he have to fix? What's his primary focus to fix? It's that ground game. It's the ground game. Evan Ingram, even if he was a 1,000-yard receiver, which is a good number, there's still like a limit there. I think the sky's the limit with this rushing attack. You can be
the
as a team.
floor is certainly lower.
Yeah. As a team, you can be well over 2,000 yards. As a team. I'm not saying you need to be. I'm also the guy that is dancing around. I don't want to be too crazy. I want to be known as being crazy, but not too crazy. Because when I say 13 wins, people call me crazy. I'm like, baby, that's whatever. Get in line. But when I say Bo Nix could throw for 5,000 yards this year, it's a little too crazy, even for my taste. I like 4,500 yards. If he flirted with 5,000, I wouldn't be surprised. So, yes, there's a fix there for the tight end. But to me, having that ground game fixed is much more important to what Davis Webb will be doing for the Broncos.
I think so, too. I think it was the main reason why we felt going into this past offseason that Sean Payton's biggest area of focus of needing to fix was getting more out of the ground game.
What do you prioritize?
It brought that balance to the offense. Because we saw in Bo Nix's rookie season what he was able to do basically on his own. And I know that you can look at it from a box score perspective, the Broncos offense from 2 seasons ago, and say, hey, well, they were like 16th in the league in rushing. But if you take Bo Nix's legs out of those equations, that room with Javonte, Jaleel, and Audric Estime looks pretty rough. We're talking like bottom third and maybe even like bottom quarter of the league in that regard, which is why they revamped the entire room. They drafted R.J. Harvey. They brought in J.K. Dobbins. They cleared almost everybody else but Jaleel out, and it just didn't translate, partially because of J.K. Dobbins' injury, partially because R.J. Harvey was not capable of filling J.K. Dobbins' shoes. His capability and his strengths as a running back did not match the style you were running with J.K. Dobbins. And that's maybe a little bit of a fault or an error on the front office and Sean Payton's part of saying, hey, we can't just rely on this piece to slide into this role if J.K. Dobbins does what J.K. Dobbins has done for every year of his career and ends it early due to injury.
And I say this gingerly because I believe it to be true, and it's a little bit mean, I guess, but I don't think it's over the top. Especially with Darren Sproles being here. He's still going to be a coach next year, right? R.J. Harvey's been a little bit too much Darren Sproles. He needs to be more Alvin Kamara.
Yeah.
Because, and you mentioned play style. Let's really examine this. This is the best. This is bringing up this. This is the perfect on point thing. I've seen you do things. You've done this perfectly because of this. Alvin Kamara would run plays, and Mark Ingram would run the same damn plays.
Right.
Darren Sproles was always different. He's just a different player. But R.J. Harvey, you didn't need R.J. Harvey to be Darren Sproles. You got to be better than Darren Sproles.
Yeah.
And that's all due respect to Darren Sproles, who I loved in college, loved him in the pros. Everyone with the Chargers. I hate the Chargers. But, listen, R.J. Harvey needs to be more Kamara than Sproles because Kamara could do everything. Sproles could do Sproles things, but not everything. And Mark Ingram couldn't do stuff as good as Kamara, but they both ran the same plays. Playbook looked the same. You didn't have to do anything differently. And Sean Payton, when I asked him this offseason, I said the importance of a rookie, when do you know, when can you trust that rookie? And he mentioned how, well, hey, we can always have a tight end staying in chip, and we can always have this. Yeah, but that's giving you one less receiver. You're trying to cover for a guy that's not doing his job. Do your job. And for R.J. Harvey, the pressure is on that young man to be better in a way that I'm not sure many running backs are. You come into this league and you are who you are. And I go back to Philip Lindsay, who's about ready to join us here in 5 minutes. And Zach By in 6 minutes.
It's about right.
Philip Lindsay showed up from day one, and he was a stud, okay? It didn't take him any time.
Mm-hmm.
And I know Royce Freeman is his friend, and I say this graciously. I had Royce as my number 9 running back that year. I had Philip Lindsay as my number 10 running back that year. I both thought they would be mid-round picks. And so I liked Royce Freeman's game. But Royce Freeman, while struggling to find a footing, and Royce is still playing, but Royce is not better. He's kind of just who he is, right? Philip Lindsay was better, and he was who he was immediately with the running back position, other than Thomas Jones. Maybe another guy I'll talk about tomorrow on Bo's Board. Don't spoil it, Kev. Don't spoil it. Bo's Board, 10:30, Bo's Board. Check it out, because I have a name that I think R.J. Harvey could follow this guy's path, and maybe they add him to help R.J. follow that path. That's tomorrow, Bo's Board. But mostly for running backs, when you crack into the NFL, you break into the NFL, I'm here, guys. That's who you are. You don't really change. It's almost like character development. In a TV show or a movie, some characters, you introduce them, whatever your favorite shows are, they're always the same character. Some characters, you see this great art. Breaking Bad, right? Breaking Bad is the greatest show of all time, although I do prefer Better Call Saul, a slower burn. But still, what did Walter White do? He went from being a chemistry teacher to a meth kingpin. That's character change. Running backs, you don't do that. You are... Well, Jesse changed in that one. Maybe Walter's son, right? Where it's like, you're the same character, and I loved Walter's son in that show. Maybe Skyler, although Skyler also did change in that. So maybe looking at Vince Gilligan's writing is like, nobody changes. Everybody changes. Running backs, though, they don't change. They're always the same. And so if you came into this league looking one way, it's probably most likely you're going to be the exact same guy.
And if you're going to spin that forward and factor that in, if you're Davis Webb looking ahead at this Broncos roster, obviously there's going to be personnel additions that impact what he can maybe have a greater chance of changing, adjusting, correcting, or amplifying. And that's why I'll go ahead and flip it on you apophatically now, because you wanted to look at it from the opposite way. What, Cecil, from your vantage point over the 2025 season, did not hold the Broncos back? What did they excel at in 2025?
They excelled at crunch time. When the chips are down, when you're down by 19 points in the fourth quarter, when you're down by a field goal and there's 2 minutes left, you know what I mean? They had no problem dealing with the accentuated pressure that comes with you're down in the fourth quarter.
Okay. So, we talked about potential ailments or setbacks for this Broncos offense that we have confidence potentially that Davis Webb can cure. What's your level of confidence in Davis Webb as the chief play caller's ability to keep the main thing, keep a strength, and allow the Broncos to continue the success that they saw in crunch and clutch time situations?
Okay, and I don't want to be too Polly Prissy Pants here, but it's really on the players more than him, right? Because he can call up the plays. If they don't execute, it doesn't matter. So as far as like the fourth quarter comeback thing, and maybe I used the wrong thing as an example, but you asked me what they were good at. They were good at that. To me, that's like I'm calling up the play, but they're executing it. I'm calling up the play, but Bo Nix had to go off script, something that he's excellent at. I dare you to blitz Bo Nix. I dare you. He's going to kick your ass. Like, that's the great thing about that team. So for me, it's Davis Webb continuing to keep the strength, while also at the same time, that team having the confidence and wherewithal to know we've done this before and we can do it again.
You know what I think? I actually think the best answer to that question.
So I had the bad answer?
No. You actually made me realize what I think the best answer is based on what you said. I think the best answer to the question, can Davis Webb keep the Broncos as hot and magical as they were in clutch time situations, which helped them ride that wave all the way to a 14-3 season, is no. But not because he failed at doing so, but maybe because the offense was more efficient and smooth and better in quarters 1 through 3, or in the first, 30 whatever minutes of a half before halftime, you get to the 2-minute warning at each spot. Maybe the best answer to can the Broncos stay as clutch as they were in crunch time situations is maybe, but not really, because they don't need it as much. They're not relying on the dice falling perfectly every single game in order to come out with a victory, because they experience better success in early down and distance situations. They don't have 25 or so % of their offensive drives end in a 3 and out.
Relying, yes. And I'm relying on you to say KKFN, HD1, Longmont, Denver. Kev, that's a number we need to know. Kevin loves this type of stuff. And I love pushing it off on him so then he can do it and then just tell me.
Of course.
Of the top 10 rushing teams, how many fourth quarter comebacks did they have? Because I bet they didn't have a lot. And why didn't they have a lot?
Because they were in the lead in the first place.
Because they didn't need a lot.